This is the last thing that I think will make it work. We'll check. No. No. Everybody else is streaming except this one. Yeah. Kick is just not working. I'll turn off. All right. All right, sorry about that. What do you mean by preview reviews? I know we got, yeah, I give up on that one. I've tried all I could with Kick. It is just not doing it. Even with the bit rate, it's not fixable. It just sucks. I could. Could. We'll try that. They were allowed to play for 6 hours, 4 hours on the new game, and 2 hours on a later build. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah. Yeah, I already saw. We can watch a video of it. It's not gonna tell me anything new. But, let's go ahead and start with the trailers. We'll talk about Crimson Desert, and then we'll talk about news. How does that sound? Because I'll be honest with you. I'll be 100% honest with you. I don't fucking care. I honestly don't fucking care about anybody else's opinion on the game. I just want to see the game for myself. I don't trust any of these YouTubers to give me actual representation of the game except maybe one person. Maybe one person. But other than that, no. I don't. Yeah. Sounded about what we expected. Nobody has complained about the what's it called? Nobody has said anything about the how the game runs. But then again, they were using somebody else's PC. So there's that. Yeah, other than that, I don't trust any of these people. I just don't. There's one thing that I think I could probably understand somebody on, and that was on the controls and I guess somebody said they're not intuitive, which I guess I could understand, but I got an MMO sort of you know, an MMO mouse, so I got everything at the tip of my fingers on my right hand side, So there's that. I still am going to enjoy every bit of this game. And for the 100th time, it's not an RPG game. It is an action adventure game. Yes, you do get stuff that makes your number go up, but other than that, that's all there is to it. You can do that in Jak and Daxter. You could do that with so many other games, and it's still not an action adventure. Everybody keeps on labeling every single game with it being an RPG. The only way a game could be an RPG is when you can make a moderate amount of choices with your character. That's it. If you can make a moderate amount of changes to your character, be it the way they look and the way they play, you got yourself an RPG. That's what you got. You do not have that with Crimson Desert. Can you modify the way your character looks? Yes, but only by a minute amount. Can you get different armors and weapons? Yes, you can. Can you make it to where, let's say for instance, your character, like for instance, Where Winds Meet. Where Winds Meet is an RPG. You can make your character from the ground up. You can use whatever weapons that you want, just like Crimson Desert. But here's the thing. Not only can you make choices in the game pertaining to the story, but you can also make certain builds with your character in Where Winds Meet. In Crimson Desert, you only can do so much. You fight certain enemies and then you gain their powers. It's Mega Man open world. It is Mega Man open world. That's actually kind of funny. It's open world Mega Man. You can take other people's power, and then that's the situation you got. Gotta turn it down. People said it's not very hand-holdy. Good. I'm sick and tired of these people. Is like, this is not gonna be for everyone. Why do people keep on mentioning that it's not gonna be for everyone? Get that dumb communist bullshit out of your goddamn mouth. Not every game is for everyone. Do I like Sly Cooper? Yeah, no, not really, but I do like the design of the characters. Do I like Uncharted? Yes, I love Uncharted, but not everybody likes Uncharted. Do I like Halo? I like old school Halo, but not new school Halo. Do I like Dragon Age from Inquisition back? Yes, I do. Some more than others. Even there are so many developers out there that are ready to make live services that are built for the modern audience, and it's got to be stomped out. I'm so done. It's so over with it. Everybody keeps on talking about, like, it's funny because on one instance, these same people that were saying, why are people being mean to Highguard? He's like, see, this is why we can't have good games. And then they'll play 6 hours of Crimson Desert and they'll be like, the game's great, but it's not for everyone. It's definitely not going to be for everyone. And I'm like, you dumb fuck. It's already got 3 million wish lists. It already got 3 million wish lists, way more than Marathon. Did you think that maybe not everybody is built like DSP? Not very hand-holdy. All these fucking YouTubers need to be getting their hands held. All these, every single time, chat, that you play this game, there are moments where you guys say, hey man, I love this game, I beat it, and I 100%ed the game, and now I'm playing through New Game Plus. Meanwhile, I'm sweating on the third boss. So hey guys, I just got home for work. Man, I've been trying to get time on this game, but it's hard, and this third boss is pissing me off. And then you motherfuckers in chat are just like, hey man, I beat this game. He's like, I beat this game with just a club. Now I'm going through the game on New Game Plus. I'm glad you're enjoying the game, and I'm like, fuck you. Souls-like games aren't my thing. It's cool. Glad they're out there because games I do like will take ideas from it. I love it when there's games out there, and we're not talking about Souls-like games. We're just talking about the fact that this game has been labeled hardcore. Absolutely fucking based. So fucking based. I want the game to be difficult. I do. And you want it to be difficult too, by the way. I'm gonna let y'all know. Y'all want it to be difficult too. Because if you run through the game in one shot, you guys are gonna be trying to figure out, did I just spend $70 to beat the game in 8 hours? I saw a couple of people praise that it wasn't easy. That's good. That's good. I want to see more of those. I don't see many of those. It's good to see you guys. Good to see you. How's everybody doing? Because if we have these have you noticed that I don't care too much about Marathon and Highguard and all these games? You want to know why? It's because these sort of things will sort out themselves. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like what's a oh man, this is gonna be a fucked up term. Sometimes, chat. Sometimes we need to do the Spartan style of living when it comes to video games. You see an ugly, stupid fucking game, and guess what? We're gonna have to fucking throw that baby in the gulag. I'm sorry. Not every game is going to make it. Not every game is going to make it. There's gonna be games for narrative and story-driven people, and they'll succeed depending on who makes it. And then there's gonna be people that make action adventure games that succeed, kind of like Crimson Desert. And as long as they get the art design and the gameplay right, they will succeed. We've seen games with less more art design and less graphics appeal to a great majority of people, but not all of them. There's some people out there that don't like Expedition 33. There's also some people that don't like Baldur's Gate 3, and this is okay. By the way, both of those games have sold more than 5 million copies, so I don't see anybody, you know, upset about that. My prime concern, my prime goal is to bring out the games that challenge the player, and I pray and I hope that those players are not like DSP. I pray these players. Watch. Let me show you. Perfect example. Let me show you.
There he is.
Let me show you. Chat, you know how when you get your ass beat in Souls-like games or in a lot of games? Here's an example of DSP playing Resident Evil Requiem. And this is the part where there's mortars being shot at you, and there's a couple of snipers or people shooting you on that area. So obviously I beat the game, so I did get killed firsthand. I did get killed first, but I realized how I could get past this area that we're about to show you, okay? Because I realized that, oh, okay, I need to be inside of a building to get away from the mortar shots. And then I realized while I was underneath the buildings and the mortar shots were, you know, being evaded, I noticed that I was able to shoot the enemy through the windows and stop them from shooting the mortar. I also noticed that getting inside buildings and getting behind cover kinda stops you from bleeding, or stops you from getting your shit kicked in, you know what I mean? Not this guy. Check this out.
I don't even know where the guy is. We haven't even seen him yet. There he is.
You see all that cover right there? You see all that cover right there? Do you see it? DSB said, nah, fuck that shit. I'm gonna be out in the open.
This is garbage. They fucked it up. No, you don't have psychic fucking zombies who can see you perfectly in cover and shoot you through cover. That's not possible. What the fuck is...
Shoot you through cover.
There he is.
There's the zombie. The zombie is out of cover, and the zombie is holding an MP5, I believe, judging by the sound. The zombie is clearly out the cover. The zombie's right here. Right here. He is the one that is out of cover. You are in line of sight of the enemy. You are going to get shot. You're here. The enemy's there. You're going to be shot right here because you're not in fucking cover. Every time that you play a Souls-like game, a Resident Evil game, a game on an insanity mode, just remember, you could be DSP.
This is garbage. They fucked it up. No, you don't have psychic fucking zombies who can see you perfectly in cover and shoot you through cover. That's not possible.
What a fucking dumbass. What a fucking dumbass. That's, all right. Appreciate y'all being here. We're going to start off with trailers as usual. I have two for you today. The first one is on Atomic Heart, their final DLC for Atomic Heart, which I think we need to go back to Atomic Heart, by the way, and finish the game completely, doing all of the fucking DLCs. I think we should do that. I think we should do that after Crimson Desert, after I have a whole bunch of Crimson Desert. I do want to get back to Atomic Heart and actually completely finish this game. But yes, here's the final DLC. I love Mundfish. Mundfish, great developers. I'm looking forward to seeing more of their stuff. Here's their last trailer.
Позови меня с собой, я приду сквозь злые ночи.
Whoa! We got new weapons.
Per the data, the probability that you will win this battle is less than 1%. Sure we can't just kick down the door?
You'll see for yourself soon.
The system's just kind of chaotic.
That's a new move.
Let's kick your ass.
Stay away from your toaster. Stay away, chat. Stay away from your toaster, okay? Stop looking at your toaster. I know you're inside your kitchen right now, and you're just waiting on your microwaved fucking microwaved food, and you're looking at your toaster, and you're like, don't put it in there.
Shit.
Love the music. And it looks like you get a new spear.
Swift, cruel, and manly.
Okay. Ready?
Let's do this.
April 16th, Atomic Heart, Blood on Crystal, available April 16th. I can't wait. It looks good. It looks really, really good. Also, hot chicks. Also, good music. Also, new weapons. I love it. I think I saw her, like, right here. Cute. Hot chicks. Finally, more of that, please. More of that, please. Yes, they understand. It looks like you get some sort of what in the world? Whoa! Is your arm supposed to be doing that? Let me see that. Yeah, they might need to fix the arm there.
The system's just kind of chaotic.
Game looks so good. I can't wait. I can't wait. All right. Next trailer, Black Roots. Let's check it out. Dizzy Games, never heard of them. Before you start thinking what I'm thinking, no. It is a survival horror game, and it's not an extraction shooter. I want you guys to know that. Why is Gollum in the game? You can get a horse? You can spill holy water on the enemy? Why would you set him free? You could choke him out? Oh, you can get stuck? Or you can just punch him? This is really creative. Oh, fuck that. Yeah, I'll wishlist it. Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah, it looks kind of good. Yeah, I'll give it a shot. It seems multiplayer, but it's definitely a survival horror game, not an extraction shooter. Yep. It's a indie game through and through. Let me see what they said. Hey there, folks. After a year of quietly working behind the scenes, our game is finally live on Steam. It's been a long road of building, rebuilding, late nights, and learning as we went, and we're really excited to finally show that what we've been working on. If it catches your interest, wishlisting and following the page makes a huge difference for a small team like ours. Who are we? We're a sister and brothers development team who have worked on various studios and titles over the years. Eventually, we decided it was time to create something on our own. That's good. That's good. For the past year, we've been building our very first independent game, Black Roots. It's been a challenging, exciting, and deeply personal journey, and we're excited, happy to finally share it with you. More updates soon. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I'll give it a shot. Dizzy Games made Black Roots. Yeah, it's good. Art design is good. It is considered multiplayer co-op survival horror, psychological horror. I'm pretty sure it's not too psychological horror. It's similar to Sons of the Forest, apparently. I don't know why they added Escape from Tarkov. Maybe the fact that you could say bleh! Maybe it's the fact that it's one of those Eurojank games and you could say bleh! No, cheeky breaky. Bruh. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. Alright, let's move on to Crimson Desert. Now, this is Wolfheart FPS, and he's played 6 hours of the game. Let's see how he feels about the game.
And I think several other
and this is one of the people that I can trust on his words. Let's see what he says.
as well am struggling to properly describe my early feelings and impressions of Crimson Desert, as it feels like the kind of game that needs 10 to 15 hours for someone to be able to give a solid initial impressions. And most of us,
I strongly disagree. I think the first hour is a good enough way to tell whether or not Crimson Desert is for you. Especially if it comes to a developer that actually doesn't front load all the good stuff in the game, but definitely says, hey, for the first hour of the game, you're going to know exactly what Crimson Desert is. I don't like it when these developers are just like, oh, you got to play 30 hours to understand. No, I don't like that.
Only got 4 to 6. So instead of just telling you that I think this game is going to be good or bad, I'm going to instead just walk you through my experience and give you some of my developing opinions and thoughts along the way, where the only story...
I just noticed something. So you got a stamina bar on here, on this game, and the stamina bar is that little diamond thing right there. And your stamina will go down if you've been climbing too long or using too much energy, and you won't be able to do anything. However, there's been a gripe of mine to where while you're falling, you can't get your stamina back. While you're doing literally nothing, you can't get your stamina back. I hate that. And the fact that Crimson Desert is not doing that, to where you could literally lose all your energy, and then just as you're falling, you can just wait for the energy to come back and then, glide again. I like that. I like that. There's too many moments where people are like, oh, if your stamina is dead, that means that's it. That means you can't breathe underwater anymore. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, for instance, you're running out of stamina while you're in the water. And it's just like, am I running out of stamina while I'm in the water, or am I running out of breath? You know what I mean? Where it's like, while your arms are tired while you're swimming, but you're still breathing air. But if you're out of stamina, so you just dip down into the water and you just try to, let your body relax for a second, but you're still able to breathe. You haven't, you're still able to use your lungs to, hold on to that, and then you could start, you know, doing that. Supposedly the food gives you health and stamina boosts. Yeah, I heard about that.
And give you some of my developing opinions and thoughts along the way, with the only story spoilers being from the prologue. Crimson Desert throws you immediately into the game with a super short cutscene of Cliff looking at his hand. It was a bit unexpected, as I thought we'd get a proper intro cinematic to, you know, set up the world and story.
They probably cut it off because of spoilers. They just gave you the bare minimum. That sort of makes sense. There's a person named Black Hokage on fucking Twitter that said something like, well, he played Crimson Desert, and he said something so fucking stupid. He said that the loading times are too long, and I'm just like, you don't have to load that much in this game. You don't. A lot of things are seamless in this game, and if you're loading, it's probably because you're probably getting rid of a story. You could go inside of buildings and the game is not loading. I always get worried about seamless games because it's like, you know, nothing to load. It kind of makes me worry how stable the game is because there's nothing to load. However, in this game, and from what I've seen, the performance is done very well. But long loading times is not my problem. It's when you constantly load. For example, do you want one long loading time and then the rest of the time you could just play the game? The rest of the time you could just play the game? Or do you want Starfield where you have to load inside your vehicle, you have to load while doing a cutscene and load into space, and then you have to load again when you go inside another space station, and then you have to load again to get out of your out of your ship? That doesn't sound fun.
But instead, you're just dropped right into the
cutscenes are in engine,
controlled prologue. But don't let that fool you, as the open world of Pywell is a big one. With
I hate this map. I hate it. I hate this match, bro. I told you it's too white. It's too nothing. It's too. Let's continue.
5 distinct regions, all seamless and supposedly more than twice the size of Skyrim. And from what I played, that honestly almost feels like an understatement. I mostly used the PS5 controller. I wanted to give mouse and keyboard a solid try, but even after 5 to 6 hours of using the controller, I still didn't fully understand the controls. So relearning everything on mouse and keyboard didn't really feel worth it with the limited time that I had. But
6 hours?
Basic movement-wise, mouse and keyboard seemed fine to me. One thing I noticed right away was the camera options, as you have 5 different view distances.
I love the wind effects in this game. So very well done. There's not many developers that will let trees move. Ever since I played Witcher 3 and saw trees sway from the wind, I was like, why aren't people doing this? By the way, what did he say about camera angles?
One thing I noticed right away was the camera options, as you have 5 different view distances to cycle between, from fairly far out to a kind of pseudo first person view. You don't.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You can't complain about FOV sliders in this game. You can't complain about that shit. By the way, I think God of War should have done the same thing. God of War, the new God of War, has always been like, bro, the new God of War, you're going to be right at Kratos' ass and armpit. And I'm like, why? Back in the day, the OG God of War, we used to back up and see him spinning the blades and shit. The new God of War, they're just like, yo, you need to see his ass cheeks. And I'm like,
actually see your character's body, but it's kind of nice in first person for conversations and examining things. Do note though that in combat you're limited to, I believe, only using the 2 farther camera distances, so no super close or first person in combat.
Nobody would want that anyway. Nobody would want the close-up. Nobody would want that. I guarantee you nobody would want that. You want to know why? Ads. You're fighting the boss, and you have the camera close to your character, and then you're like, oh, it's just one-on-one. I can handle that. And then you're getting your ass kicked by some random ad that is shooting arrows in the distance, and then you're like, all right, we need to back the camera up. The main character looks like Declan Rice. They must have modeled the character on him. I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, which is probably a good thing. The prologue itself, like I mentioned earlier, is linear and controlled, pretty much the opposite of what the full game seems to be. You spawn into the world at a Greymane camp, which is your character Cliff's mercenary group, the good guys basically. And you've just recently been attacked by a faction known as the Black Bears, the bad guys, and you're dealing with the aftermath of that battle. Now, the music, the gameplay style, cinematic presentation, and the voice acting are all good in the prologue, despite me feeling like there just wasn't enough of these story moments to establish some of the characters in meaningful ways. But what we did get, at least in the prologue, quality-wise, I'd say was pretty decent to good.
Giles' sword. His last words were of you, Cliff.
Really good voice acting.
Say your farewells.
Unfortunately, though, after the prologue, these types of scenes only became even more scarce, making me really get that feeling that story is secondary in this game, which will be okay to some and not as okay to others. Even the supposed main antagonist of at least the early parts of the game, what I'm led to believe, just wasn't really set up with much depth. He's kind of just the guy who kills people, I guess. With all that said, I barely scratched the surface of this game, so there could...
I like that. No, I like that. I'll take it. I like that. Why do we have to stop this whole idea that every bad guy has to have some sort of backstory and a reason for them just being bad? No. You're just a fucking criminal. You're bad. You're out there killing people, raping women. No, you're just bad. You're just bad. Every time when I'm trying to create like characters and antagonists for my story, I can do maybe one character that is unique, one enemy that is unique, and there's going to be a unique enemy. There's always going to be characters that are going to kill you because they have to. Like, let's say, for instance, a beast. And a beast, well, they need to eat, so they're going to eat you. That makes sense. And then there's just going to be people that just want your shit.
Could be a ton that was just beyond my reach. After talking to a few Greymanes and no dialogue choices from my experience, if you are curious, your camp is ambushed by the Black Bears and your leader dies and the basic combat tutorial begins. And speaking of combat in general, there's a decent amount to it, and by the end of my session I still hadn't developed the muscle memory for everything that I had learned, and it felt like there was still a ton to discover. This game has no difficulty options, so when you encounter a foe that feels too difficult, it's usually an indicator that you need to get better gear, more skills, or need to, prepare more.
I can't wait for DSP to play this game. Oh my god. Oh, I can't wait. I'll get killed once and then be like, oh, this is what I need to do. My mistake. And then DSP is just going to run away from an enemy after he gets killed and then be like, that guy, that boss was the worst designed boss I've ever fought. And then everybody's going to be like, that wasn't a boss. That was just a guy. That wasn't a boss. It was just an elite enemy. That's it.
One of my criticisms of early game was that the combat was just too easy. I didn't even know what I was doing half the time, and hacking through...
Val says, Greymanes, Blackbeards, Silverbacks. Sounds like a gay biker gang. Sure.
Most enemies, while not really knowing what I'm doing, wasn't a problem at all, and large groups were not very intimidating. Now, with that said, I know for a fact that there are some really difficult bosses in this game. I just didn't get to experience enough to speak on difficulty as a whole. At a basic level, the combat can be quite simple. You have light attacks, which don't cost any stamina.
Light attacks that don't cost stamina.
Heavy attacks, which do. I wouldn't really classify the combat as requiring major stamina management, but it does require some for some skills. When you sprint and then attack, the attack animation changes, allowing for a wider, AoE-like swipe. There's jump attacks. You can hold down the block button with your shield, but blocking incoming attacks does use up some stamina, so keep that in mind. There's a parrying type mechanic, which requires timing, and you can hold circle or B to roll or sidestep. If you just keep it at that, it's not really insanely complex or anything like that, but there's actually a lot.
Whoa. Okay, I got a criticism. What do you mean you front loaded all of the abilities to focus on the sword, but you didn't frontline any sort of abilities or combo or movement on the shield? You didn't think about doing anything for the shield, like a shield bass, a shield charge, or anything like that, or a shield throw, bro? How do you miss a layup like that where you don't do anything about the shield? You mean to tell me? I hope not. From what I've seen, I don't see any shield abilities. But all I'm saying is that you have designed a multitude of shields in this game, and you have decided no abilities are revolving around the shield. All right.
A lot more to it that's offered, such as plenty of multi-button input attacks, like combining R1 and R2, or triangle and circle. And some of these attacks are spirit attacks.
Wait a minute. Let's see him attack him again. Watch this.
Or triangle and circle.
Okay, that execution used the shield. I mean, I guess the execution, he uses the shield to punch him in the face. All right. I want more shield moves, though.
And some of these attacks are spirit attacks. And this is where the game can start to feel more like a fighting game. The feeling of combat early on in the game, I'd say, was pretty good. But what I really enjoyed about the combat system, though, was the breadth of options. And I thought it was cool that some of the non-combat mobility or puzzle-solving skills that I learned can also be quite useful in combat as well. Now, this little leaf above the health bar represents your spirit and some skills that you learn, such as this force push skill, hitting RB and right trigger at the same time, which is this extra heavy spirit attack, and this huge aerial ability.
Cool.
All consume spirit. Spirit does regen slowly on its own, but you can't just endlessly use your spirit attacks. And we'll talk about character progression.
Let's see. I'm a little confused. I thought they had an embargo until 24 hours before launch. They must have changed it. There are parts where you're facing like 50 enemies and a boss. Sweet. It's just BDO combat. I'll take it. No, it's not. No, it's fucking not. In BDO, bro, you flash around and slice up a small group, and then you slash around and slice up another group, and guess what? A lot of your abilities don't make the enemy move. A lot of them, they receive 0 knockback. In this game, when you actually hit an enemy, you hit a fucking enemy, and then they feel it, and then they react to your attacks, depending on the enemy, of course. I'm noticing with these smaller or same size enemies, they actually react. However, with BDO, there's a lot of moves where they just sit there. They just sit there and they just take it. Also, these enemies that I'm seeing right here are way more reactive than BDO enemies. They let people talk about it for 6 hours, but not the story, I think. Probably. And yeah, probably. Shields are for pussies. So that's how the UK got fucked.
And learning more of these types of skills here in a little bit. Back to the prologue combat tutorial, you end up getting killed by the leader of the Black Bears, which triggers a small cutscene. Cliff is tossed into a body of water, but ends up surviving, of course, and waking up in a strange realm called the Abyss, which is a place somewhere between dream and reality. This is still the prologue, so I'm not spoiling anything outside.
No, it's not a spoiler.
You'll be returning to this Abyss realm quite often. It even has its own map that layers over the regular ground map, and basically the sky map, I believe. But for the prologue, you're put in the Abyss to set up some of the story elements. Some outside force basically wants you to live and survive and restore the lands or something like that. But this part of the prologue also serves to teach some movement-based and puzzle-solving tutorial.
This is just Breath of the Wild. This is just Breath of the Wild, but better. Yeah, it's an action-adventure game.
And skills, if you will. And this is where I think a lot of players are actually going to get frustrated. The controls are interesting to say the least. If you don't like feeling mobility challenged, especially outside of combat, this alone might cause a few of you to smash your monitor if you're not patient with yourself. Personally, I enjoyed some of the learning curve here because it feels different from other games. There's a bit of a sense of achievement that you can feel that
didn't take that long for him to come back in the game.
Basic things, but I'm going to take a guess and say that some of the Steam reviews will have some very angry comments stating that the controls suck. The help menu literally has, I think, 50 entries just for basic controls, as you can see right here. And at this time, only mouse and keyboard buttons can be remapped. Let's take something as simple as sprinting. It feels a little unusual and different. So in Crimson Desert, you have to repeatedly press X to start sprinting and then, you know, continue sprinting faster. If you press it a couple times, you can let go and it will maintain that speed. But if you want to keep sprinting and getting faster, you have to keep repeatedly pressing it, and this does drain stamina, while a normal light jog, you don't have to repeatedly press anything, nor does it use any stamina. So sprinting in this game feels a little bit more situational than most other games. Jumping is simple on its own, but when combined with sprinting to clear large gaps, it gets a little awkward since you're rapidly tapping X and then switch over to circle or square or whatever it is. For most players, I think it's going to take a little bit of time to get used to even many of these basic movement techniques.
That I could sort of understand. You don't want to make the player become like, you don't want the player to become what's the word, tired from the game. Not real tired. Like, I know a lot of these motherfuckers, they don't have, there's a lot of unemployed motherfuckers out there, but what I'm saying is, you don't want to make them exhaust their thumb a lot. So we'll see about that. It's definitely situational from what he said. So you can hit double dash and then you can keep maintain the usual sprinting speed. And then for anything faster, I would use the stronger speed for, like, if I'm trying to do like some sort of shoulder tackle, or I'm trying to make a jump or something like that, I would use it then. So it's definitely situational
techniques. But like I said, when you do finally get it down, it can feel really good, and it can make a navigation of terrain more engaging in this game than it is in other games that are out there where you can just kind of turn off your brain. There's also a targeted jump system where you hold L1, you like aim your cursor, and then you jump to that target, and it works. But it's not something that many of us are used to, and sometimes I do wonder.
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take it. I'm gonna be honest, I'll take it. I'll take... A lot of us, including me, suck at jumping puzzles. I want to guarantee that I'll make that jump. I'll take it.
If it's ever really needed to be like this in the first place.
It's going to be needed. There's definitely jumping puzzles.
I think overall, though, it's going to be an interesting debate on the interwebs how these controls work.
Yeah.
Climbing is pretty straightforward, but it does use stamina, so you can fall if you don't plan your root right or find a place to temporarily rest to regain your stamina. Puzzles in this game appear to be a fairly important aspect of this game, and mastering your movement and controls is actually
Oh my god, that's
part
so
of
cool.
navigating these puzzles. So I highly recommend players to take their time in this game.
Also, I want you to look at the rocks right here. Like, obviously, this game is beautiful from a distance, but if you look at the rocks right here, like, if you look closely, the rocks look like shit. But if you back up, it's like, it fools you. Kind of like with Monster Hunter World and shit.
You can fall if you don't plan your root right or find a place to temporarily rest to regain your stamina. Puzzles in this game appear to be a fairly important aspect of this game, and mastering your movement and controls is actually part of that. It's part of navigating these. Also, while you're holding your position, I noticed that while he was holding his position while he was climbing, his stamina didn't go up or down. So I really like that. With other games, it's just like, if you got your feet off the ground, you're losing stamina, point blank, period. Puzzles. So I highly recommend players to take their time in this game. Give yourself time to learn, and if you're not willing to do that, you're going to get really frustrated. And speaking of puzzles,
you need that yellow
you're
paint, don't
to
you?
This light reflect.
The yellow paint of assurance that I'll make the jump. Yes.
Mechanic, as you can see on my screen, where you use your sword.
You said supposedly the later game build was a little buggy. We'll see. We'll see.
To aim light, reflect light at heat reactive objects, which will then open doors and stuff like that. And actually later on in the game, I ran up to a tower that was covered in vines. The door was covered, and the game wanted me to set an arrow on fire from a brazier to burn the vines. A nearby event technician informed me that I could also use the light reflection to burn the vines if I stood in the sun in an area where I could reflect the light.
That's cool.
That was pretty cool, as it shows that there are at least sometimes multiple ways to solve things in this game. I'd encountered, I'd say, 3 or 4 notable.
I just imagine the fire prevention bear looking at this. He's like, oh, he got rid of the vines. So long as the fire stops at the vines.
In this game, I'd encountered,
right over to he's gonna get out of the building and be like, yo, why is there a forest fire?
say 3 or 4 notable puzzles in my time playing, and a really massive one, but that was in a separate session where the devs let a few of us play on a load point that was much later on in the game. And all these puzzles involved moving gears around discs, cubes, and plates, trying to line things up, connecting things, moving lasers around. And all of this is mostly done to allow energy to flow into certain places to, open up special doors and stuff like that. As you can see right here, this ability is called Axiom Force, and it allows me to manipulate objects. But interestingly enough, like I said with some of the combat type skills, this ability can also be used as a grappling hook of sorts later on in the game if you actually get that skill. You can use it for movement, you can use it for combat in a way. It's kind of cool how you can do that with a lot of skills. Now, many of these puzzles did require careful navigation of the puzzle arena. Part of the challenge, maybe it's just because I didn't have the muscle memory yet, was moving around the puzzle areas and not falling off of cliffs and stuff like that. So your mobility techniques do come into play. In some ways, it reminded me.
I don't think you needed it for that, but all right.
Game puzzles, at least more so than a game that's more of a mystery math puzzle type game. And I'd say it was one of the highlights of my initial impressions experience. And I'm looking forward to finding more of these puzzles and hopefully a wider variety. You also get a lantern tutorial.
Okay, as much as I love these sort of ancient sort of ruins up in the sky, we also need places where you're not supposed to go. Okay? We're talking about like chaos and dangerous magics in this game. So there has to be areas that are up in the sky that are sort of holier than thou, sort of ancient buildings, which he's at right now. But we need underground areas where it's just black and red and fucking shit covered, and it's like you were not supposed to be here. You found this place by accident because you got curious. Like, you need that too. You need to have both.
Tutorial in the prologue, and it's more important than it sounds. Lanterns aren't just for seeing in the dark. They actually highlight puzzle elements and can reveal pathways forward and give you answers. But again, it ties back to the controls. Even something simple like using the lantern requires different inputs than most games. You have to go through a few steps to understand kind of how to use it the right way, so it takes some time to get.
My only concern with this about this game is the story and voice acting, and of course the optimization. My thing would have to be optimization. The story is probably gonna just be bad people, you're the good people, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with the story. I've heard the voice acting, really good voice acting. A lot of people over in Europe have really nice voices, and especially the orc. Really good voice actor for the orc. Really has that bombastic voice to him, and the dialogue is very nice and very fluid and very, very unapologetic as well. But the story, I'm fine with it, because here's the thing. Lord of the Rings, you already know who the bad guy is. You already know who the good guys are. Lord of the Rings is one of the best stories out there. Oh, this is the bad guy and this is the good guy. Okay, cool. 10 out of 10 story. So you just got to make sure to make that appeal to people that enjoy your game. Like I think dialogue is very important. Like, let me say something. There's a lot of games out here that have horrible stories, but they're 10 out of 10 because of their gameplay as well. I think this story is probably going to be mid to a lot of people, because it's not Expedition 33 large. It's not like that. Even Baldur's Gate 3. The Baldur's Gate 3 had some good moments in their story, but all in all, there were moments where I'm just like, why? Why would this be a thing? And yeah, it doesn't take away from the game. The story's important though. The story is important. Yeah, and Lothar, the bad guy, is the black guy. Exactly. No, he's right. It's literally Sauron. He's covered in black armor. It's literally him. And what color are the orcs? And the Orcai? They're black, with the white hand of Sauron right on their face. So everybody knew. There's 5 different areas, provinces. Curious how they will play out with the faction mechanics. Me too. Is it going to be shitty factions, or is it, because I hate how games do factions lately, where it's just like, we're this. Destiny and Warframe are the 2 games that fucked up factions. They are so fucking lazy. The factions are lazy. As a matter of fact, I think they got rid of factions in Destiny too. It's too lazy. I firmly believe you have to make a whole story with the faction and follow that faction's set of rules. Warframe likes to do this whole thing where it's just like, well, this faction is liked by this faction, neutral with this one, and hated by this one. And I'm over here just thinking to myself, well, what if there's a faction that nobody cares about, that everybody's indifferent to? Like, it just felt like they were just setting up a certain faction to just hate that faction because they needed somebody to hate. And I'm like, okay, that's good and all, but I feel like, you know, and that it also has, the factions have to have a story. You have to continue that lineage. And also, if you so much as delve away from the faction's whole sort of ordeal or lifestyle, then you'll be like permabanned out of that faction. You'll be hunted by that faction. I think I like that. I think I like that idea.
Used to. Eventually, in the prologue, you'll reach a platform that pulls you back to the moment that you were dying before a mysterious force or character saves you, and just like that, you're now fully in the world of Pywell. After you follow this one character for a little bit, he gets you on your horse and he teaches you a little bit about that. The game then opens up and lets you explore.
Warframe slander will not be tolerated. Nah, that game died.
Freely. And with that said, I'd strongly recommend sticking to the main quests early on, since it continues in somewhat tutorial type of way. It's not like an official tutorial, but it does teach you different things that are in the game. I ended up wandering off before doing these main quests, and honestly, it wasn't that enjoyable because I had no idea what I was doing mechanics wise, nor did I know or understand what the game even wanted me to do at that time. When you do push on with the main quest, it's somewhat interesting, I'd say, but it just doesn't feel like that deep of a story. You're being guided and aided by mysterious beings that want you to set Pywell straight, but the way it's presented, at least early on, makes the quests feel a little disconnected from one another. It almost has an MMO style structure and feeling to it.
This game used to be an MMO, I heard.
Some of these main quests feel like, you know, side quests in other games. But with that said, I think these early quests are more so meant to get you acquainted with what the game offers mechanics and systems wise. You know, it has you running on rooftops, doing some mini games, using tools in the game, stuff like that. So perhaps later on in the game, you know, after you reunite with some of your gray main faction, it'll be much more story centric focused.
Good day.
Aside from the main quests, you also have faction quests. And I feel like from my time in the game, the faction quests are basically the side quests. I don't think I found like any like official side quests. I just had my main quests. There could be. I just didn't find them myself. And faction quests become available to you by doing things such as talking to certain NPCs. You can pick up bounties and hunt certain characters for different factions. And then there's also challenges, some of which are acquired by finding certain items, and these can range from typical challenges that you'll find in games, such as killing X amount of enemies with X weapon, but there's also more, you know, involved, interesting ones, such as completing a puzzle challenge, and many of these challenges reward the player with skill acquisition and upgrade materials, such as Abyss artifacts, which let's talk about that a little bit right now. So there's no leveling or XP in Crimson Desert. It's all gear based and skill acquisition based. As you can see right here, there's 3 skill trees all connecting back to the center. And one way to unlock new skills is by spending Abyss artifacts that you've found or earned from challenges, etc. The top blue tree here are mostly stamina type skills, such as new grappling techniques. You can actually get unarmed combat, there's special slash attacks, and so on. The green tree is your spirit skills, such as super high jumps, force attacks, slowing down time, some of these nature green type skills. And the red tree has some more tool-based skills. You can use these tools for puzzles, and elemental type skills, such as a lightning attack, imbuing your weapons with different elemental effects, etc. Now, each of these nodes that you see here in the skill that each node offers go deeper than just one upgrade, though. As you can see right here, if I click on the grappling skill, I can then learn several different types of grappling attacks, most of which, you know, require a multi-button.
I want this game. Oh my god. Oh, I want this game. I want it. Oh. Get closer while airborne or press F and left trigger or F and right trigger to latch onto a specific target to attack or escape danger. Yeah. These are skills, bro. These are skills. Much like Path of Exile 2. These are skills. Path of Exile 2 does this thing where it's just like everything that you gain from enemies, like certain loot, certain gems, certain skills that you go into, everything feels like you can make it entirely your own. Do you want to make a lightning archer? You can make a lightning archer. Do you want it to rain down lightning arrows? Or do you want the light, or do you want to be so fast as lightning while shooting lightning arcs of arrows? You could do that. Those are skills. That's the way you make abilities right there. That's the way you make abilities. Not, oh, when you level this up, you're gonna get 5% more reload speed. Fucking A, bro. If you level this up, you're gonna have plus 10 strength, and then, oh god, it's not enough. It's not enough. Maybe this game, it's very RPG light, but yeah, it's not an RPG. No, it's not an RPG. You do have choices here, but it's not extensive enough. Yeah, the choices are there for, yeah, because you don't have the ability to level. There's no, strength based dexterity. You have stamina. It's all based on gear. Yeah, it's not, yeah. Yeah, I see. Yeah, it's still not an RPG. You could just set yourself up in a certain way, yes, but it's still not an RPG.
Input to activate, so it's a little bit more advanced than some other games. This part of the game is a plus for me as of right now, and it's one of my biggest motivators to come back to this game, to grind out some of those artifacts, to find more artifacts, to do more puzzles, to do more challenges, and get these artifacts to upgrade my character further, and try out as many of these combat and utility skills as I possibly can, because many of them look like they'll be a ton of fun trying out, and the little ones that I did get to experience, they're quite enjoyable and they felt unique. Like I mentioned earlier, I did get to experience a later load point with a more upgraded character, and that character felt very different from my character that I played from the beginning. And honestly, it was exciting to think about progressing my own character to that point that I experienced later on in the game. So I feel like as of right now, that feeling of progression of your character becoming more powerful and being just a cooler, more fun character, I think that will be rewarding in this game. Unfortunately, I didn't get to try out too many weapons, but it seemed like you could have 3 active ones to cycle between. Do note that dual wielding is a thing in this game, and I did get to try it for a few minutes on the later load point.
I did see it.
I don't have footage of that for you. We couldn't show that, and it felt really cool. I also tried the spear, which I thought was really good. There was like this spirit spear that would do something with souls. It was pretty fun. I used the bow, and the bow is actually a little underwhelming feeling, and do note that arrows are a limited resource, but there's also axes, great swords, rapiers, there's guns, although the guns might be limited to that female character that you can unlock later on in the game. I'm not entirely sure. And on that note, there's 2 other characters that you'll eventually unlock.
I found out that every character can use whatever they want. When any character can use what they want in this game. I noticed that if you look at the later episodes, I thought that she was the only one that could have the great sword. That's not true. I thought she was the only one to have a rapier. Wait. You know what? I'll wait. Because it seems to me like the orc guy is always going to be having, he's the only one that can access axes or war axes, battle axes. For her, she's the only one that I know that has a rapier and a pistol and a musket. For him, he's the only one that I've seen with a sword. There are other weapons that you can make the character wield, like a great sword and like a spear and all this stuff, but I haven't seen.
And be able to use them for open world activities, and they have different skills and styles. But since I didn't get to that point, I don't want to talk about it too much in this video. Needless,
when you upgrade, when your bounty's higher and higher, your picture changes on the top right. Check this out.
resource, but there's also axes, great
Yeah, when
swords, rapiers.
when your
there's
bounty is
guns,
higher, your
although the guns might be
face
limited
changes
to that
on the
female
top
character that you
right.
can unlock later on in the game. I'm not entirely sure.
That's cool.
And on that note, there's 2 other characters that you'll eventually unlock and be able to use them for open world activities, and they have different skills and styles. But since I didn't get to that point, I don't want to talk about it too much in this video. Needless to say, between skill upgrades and weapons, initial impressions wise, for a game that doesn't tout itself as an RPG, you know, with levels and attributes and all that stuff,
Yeah.
the character progression systems that they do have are appealing to me, and I'm super thankful that I got to try that later load point, as it reassured me that that character progression seems like it's going to be meaningful. Now, since
Yeah.
I didn't find any new armor, I might have found a piece or two, but I don't really know much about armor except that there's a bunch of different slots, more than I would have thought for an action adventure game. So we have a head slot here. There's a slot that combines chest and main leg armor together. So it's
Thank you. You've done it. Finally. Finally. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, I want to say thank you. You have separated glasses from head. Thank you. There's earrings, there's necklace, there's 3 ring slots. Thank you for separating the glasses, the goggles with the headpiece. Thank you.
just one piece. A jacket slot, a boot slot, and a glove slot. And then there's a ton of trinket slots with rings. You can have an amulet. You can actually have a mask. There's a slot for a mask if you want to do robberies and more. But let's now talk a little bit about the world. So obviously it's massive and beautiful. And there's some challenges and some interesting, points of location that I really want to go explore. And I'm definitely
It's crazy. KCD2 is
excited to check out.
It's crazy. KCD2, this game is not. No time schedule for NPCs and a lot of copy and pasted enemies. This game? Do you mean this game or do you mean KCD2? Oh yeah, no. Oh yeah. Well, that's not fair though. That's actually not fair. Because this game is fantastical and KCD2 is not. That's not fair. Yeah, that's like when you're playing KCD2, it's for people that like that medieval realistic lifestyle. Yeah, I would love to fight a dragon, but I'm playing KCD2. If I want to fight dragons, I'll play Skyrim. So yeah, I don't think that's I don't think that's fair. Can we play a hot woman? Yes. But to be honest, Val, I don't know what you consider hot. I'm actually kind of scared to find out
Some of the other areas and biomes. With that said, don't expect Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 or Baldur's Gate 3 levels of NPC activity or reactivity in this game. Most NPCs seem to be more like visual props to add, visual immersion rather than ones that you can have meaningful engagements with. I kind of expected that. I didn't expect it to be crazy because it's not like a true.
Thank God. Thank God. Not every game has to have the reactivity sort of thing. If you saved, somebody said, "Hey, can you please save my son? He's been taken by these gang of thugs." You go out there, you take them out, and then you save the son. You bring the son back to the father, and then every time when you come back to the village, they clap and they're saying, "Hey, it's our hero." That's all I need. I don't need everything. I don't need everything to be reactive. Okay? If you want to put a fucking reputation system, that's fine. That's cool. But I don't want to do this whole thing where it's just like, "I remember you, traveler. I remember you. You were the one that bought all of my fucking lube at my store." And I'm like, I listen, that sounds great, but it's not required. It's not required. If I look at it to where it's just like, "Hey, here's a new game. I really hope that they do all the things that do all the things from the previous game that I've just played.
RPG, but it was a little underwhelming, and I'd be lying if I didn't tell you that. I don't think you can even kill regular NPCs in this game, at least from what I tried. When you shoot them, or when I did it with the bow, it just would go through their body, and it would piss.
Wait. You just killed a whole bunch of guards. You just killed a whole bunch of guards. Wolf, you just killed a whole bunch of guards.
Off the guards, which you'd end up fighting, but I don't think I could kill them. And even some of the wildlife didn't seem like I could kill, but there is some sort of hunting system in the game, so maybe I was just doing it wrong. Not entirely sure.
Okay, the wildlife, that's weird.
But you can piss off guards and then kill the guards. Now, there's some sort of crime system that goes with this. You can go to jail if you steal things.
I did see something online to where in Crimson Desert, when you fuck with one of the kids, your bounty goes straight fucking to the roof. I fucking think that's hilarious. I saw they showed it on there, and then the main character, he pushed the kid and then he started crying, and everybody around said, "Hey, Jeffrey Epstein." Boo. That was cool.
The cops are going to come after you. I don't think they're called cops back then, but you get what I'm saying. But I didn't really get that deep into it, but from initial impressions wise, it didn't seem like it was too crazy deep, but I guess it's something just to add a little intensity to, you know, being careful with what you do. And with that said, there are certain builds that I heard about that you can do where if you get powered up and you're also wanted and you have the law coming after you, your character becomes more powerful when you're wanted, which I think is actually pretty interesting to think about. An interesting little combination there. Like I mentioned earlier, you do get a horse right after the prologue. It feels a little funky, not gonna lie. Kind of reminds me of The Witcher 3 a little bit. You kind of get like stuck on things. It seems like a decent amount.
Floaty.
But once you get used to the controls, it's not too bad, and it works pretty decently when you're not running into rocks and stuff. And when you're on a high ledge, or perhaps if you fall from the abyss when you're doing a puzzle, there is this aerial glide ability that you'll get very early on in the game, but since you don't have a ton of stamina, it doesn't really allow you to glide that well, but it does save you from falling to your death. And later on in the game, this becomes much more powerful. Fellow content creator Luality actually got to ride a dragon on a later load point, and I watched a little bit of her doing that, and it looked pretty cool. And we already know that there's also a mech that you can pilot in certain areas, but I didn't get to experience either of those myself, so no sense in really talking about it in this video too much. I didn't get to explore the open world as much as I was hoping, as I was busy learning the basics with the main quest, but I will say that it did wander off pretty far from the starting area at one point, and I came across this camp fortress like area. You can see the gameplay here. And really, none of the NPCs were really doing anything.
I like how he was there methodically thinking about everything about what the game has, probably writing everything down, scribbling and writing things down. He's like, okay, the controllers could use some work. The controllers are not intuitive. It's like, oh, the way you jump and lose your stamina, and the characters are not reactive within the first village that I've seen. And there's this bitch Luality that's just like, I found a dragon! It just goes to show you, if you're coming, this is why I like to look at the two perspectives of people. There's the one that Wolfheart looks at the game like methodically, kind of like I do, but I also want to know if the game is fun. And then I will look at what Luality does, and then she's just out there fucking around.
Or offered anything at all. They're all just kind of standing there. I couldn't trade with any of them. I think I could only do very basic greetings, no actual conversations. There was no
basic greetings. That's good.
I got really nothing, and I got bored, and I just started shooting at people, which didn't kill them, but it did piss off some of the guards. And then I started fighting for my own entertainment. I'm not sure why this camp was so lifeless. It could have been a bug, possibly. I was playing on a very early version of the game. Not very early, but early compared to the review copy version. Or it could be,
if you're talking about this area, I remember this area. It's tied to the main mission. If he's probably referring to something else, but I remember this area specifically because of the drapes and the goblins everywhere. This area is tied to the main mission. So he might be talking about some other different area, but this area gets really lively around the main mission.
Some sort of camp or...
You ever do that where you're in an open world and you see something and you're just like, what happens here? And then out of nowhere you do a mission and then it takes you to that spot?
Area that requires you to liberate it first. I don't know.
It's rarely boring with Lua, though it can be ear-shattering. Yes. That's why I can only take small doses of Luality, where I'm just like, okay, she'll say some funny stuff there, and then she'll start screaming, and I'm just like, all right, I'm glad she's having fun. I'm leaving.
I heard something about a liberation mechanic where you liberate an area and then it unlocks a bunch of content. So I'm not entirely sure. I didn't have enough time or knowledge to fully understand that. Regardless, it was a little concerning and it made me wonder if there's going to be a ton of underwhelming, rather lifeless areas on this huge map with not much going on besides NPCs standing around. Then we also have systems such as mining. You cut down trees to gather resources for the trees to then, upgrade certain weapons. Gathering herbs, you can kill animal. I had a hard time killing animals, actually. I know there is a hunting system, like I said, but you can get meat from animals and then, do the whole cooking system. And cooking actually is a good way to have...
I think I noticed why a lot of things seem lifeless to him. It's because he ignored everything. He probably did some side missions, but he literally ignored everything and just started going around like places. And I sort of agree with him, but sort of don't. Whereas, okay, the world has to be lifeless. I mean, the world has to be full of life somehow, like do some stuff, mini games, mini quests, having, a little bit of fun here and there. And like having this place that you're seeing right here be something of like a merchant area or something like that. I could see where you're going, but at the same time, I strongly believe that there is a story for every place, be it you have to discover it yourself, or you have to do a side mission or a main mission to actually have that certain area become lively and, actually open up to you. As a matter of fact, I think that's what actually, because I think later on when you build up your gray mains, the world starts to open up to you even more. So it's like, oh, you got to take care of all your people. You have to make sure that everybody's fed. You got to make sure that your whole campsite and your whole layer is all set up with goods and stuff and merchants and making sure money is being flowed in and out from your area. And so I guess I can kind of see where he's going with, like, it in 6 hours is not enough. But at the same time, Luality found a dragon. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm just saying. You have to make your own fun. There's some things that some streamers can do easily and other streamers can't do. Where Luality will find fun out of fucking anything and just automatically like open up like new dialogue or like find a dragon. He's like, Wolfheart doesn't do that. Wolfheart looks at things like an encyclopedia going from A, B to C. And I'm just like, well, he's like, what, how did Luality get over there getting the dragon? And how did you end up walking around everywhere using a horse and like jumping on rocks and stuff? You see what I'm saying? It's like, it's like, see, you decided, hey, I'm bored. Let me kill all of the, the guards in the area and bring up my bounty. And then she went out there and said like, bro, I want to go to that giant mountain because I know there's something there. And then she gets up there and then there's a dragon. Something like that. I think the devs set her up on the dragon. You think so? They said she torched a village with a dragon and then accidentally jumped off the dragon and died. Now, I usually kill everyone and then realize 1,000 hours in there was a quest. But the point still stands. 4 + 2 hours probably is not enough time. Yeah, I see what they're saying. I see what they're saying. I think when it comes to, because developers did say that exploration is the main thing, and they got to make sure that the game, if the game is going to be tied to exploration, you know that these people are going to go out there and then discover the world. Like you remember that time that you were walking around Skyrim and then a talking dog came up to you? It's got to be something like that, to where it's just like, okay, you got an open world here. Can I just, you know they're just going to avoid the main mission, right? You know that. There's a lot of developers where they like to think that they're a games master for some odd reason. And then they're just like, all right, so you're going to talk to this guy. No, I'm going to run over there. No, bro, there's so much good if you just talk to this guy and start the mission. No, I'm going to run over here. I'm going to jump off this hill, and then I'm going to jump down there. You have to realize that if you're going to make an open world game, you have to be ready for that. And if you just say like, oh, none of this stuff is activated because the player went out there and run, and then you say something like, well, I didn't think they were just going to run off and do something. Nigga.
Skills available for you. There's fishing in the game, which unfortunately I didn't do. I wish I did. I like fishing typically.
Luality was given a special save file. Was it a special save file? Or do you mean a save file like everybody else?
Playing games. And then there's a million other systems that we just simply didn't have enough time to experience. The one system that I wish I got to experience, though, was the Greymane camp building system. So without spoiling really the story here, you know, your Greymanes are disbanded in the prologue, but then one of your missions at the start of the game is to reform them and build up your camp. And there's like some camp building mechanics that go with that, and you see all your companions there and stuff like that. I didn't make it to the Greymane camp, which I think is an chapter 3. Unfortunately, I didn't get to experience that. I'm hoping that's where like the story and the characters come more to life, and that there's some interesting mechanics.
Yeah, you should have done that. She was fucking up on the puzzles and got frustrated, so they let her play with the dragon? Bro. Oh my gosh. The pretty privilege. Oh my gosh. All the guys are playing and they're just like, are you having, how's the game? Oh, it's good. It's good. No guy's gonna come out and be like, yo, this game's, oh, this is stupid. No guy's gonna do that unless he's a bitch. And then he's like, how's the game? Oh, it's not bad. I'm just doing something over here. And there's Luality over in the corner like, oh, these puzzles suck. And then everybody just surrounds her. He's like, give her the file with the dragon. Give her the file with the dragon. And everybody's like, what the fuck? I want the file with the dragon. Special late game file. I'm assuming it was specifically to generate this exact kind of talk. This PR team knows their craft. It's funny because I thought Luality was good at puzzles. I guess she's only good at certain puzzles.
Performance wise, just go watch the Digital Foundry video. They did a deep dive on PC performance and everything came back good. I believe pretty much all of it. So I think thumbs up in that category. For us at the event, it was also a thumbs up, playing the game on Ultra with ray tracing. I don't know of anyone that had any performance problems. As far as console players go, no idea. But Prilibus has said that they're going to release things before the game comes out. That's
It's such a bad map, man. Such a bad
the
map.
plan. And I think they may even have said that they're going to try to give it to another YouTube channel that can do a deep dive on the console metrics. So if you're a console player, you should be, you know, a little bit worried or concerned because you never know with console, especially an Xbox Series S, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. As far as bugs go, I did experience a couple that caused me to reload, but I was, you know, playing on an earlier version than even the review code version. And a couple other players told me they didn't experience those bugs. So I think it's going to be okay, but I don't know after 5 hours for such a massive game. I'm sure there's going to be bugs, but hopefully they're not too bad. It wasn't a major area of concern for me in my time playing. Let's go ahead and try to summarize everything here. I would say initial impressions wise, Crimson Desert was exciting, confusing, and concerning to me. But overall, after 5 to 6 hours, I am still interested in experiencing more, and I will be playing more. I actually got a review copy of the game. Bravo to Pearl Abyss for sending those out before listening to people's hands-on impressions. I think that's awesome that they did that. But that is some sort of thumbs up from me, the fact that I'm interested in playing again. I'm excited to jump back in, but man, this game just has so much to explore and learn, and it's so hard to give like a solid initial impressions, and I think you guys should take all of these with a grain of salt, as many of our opinions might drastically change from our initial impressions to an actual review.
Let's check lualities. I gotta check this.
Okay, we are here to talk about Crimson Desert. I got invited for an event. I did not get paid to go to this place. They just invited, hey, you want to come play the game? I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So what is Crimson Desert? Well, the more that I played the game, the more I was like confused, and I felt like I needed to play it more to be able to tell.
Hey, I went over and played a game for 6 hours for free, and then I got back home, and I'm like, well, what do you get out of it? Not much. Okay.
How it is. So overall, I like the game, but you need to make sure that your expectations from this game are aligned with what the game wants to provide you. If you're looking for an intense storytelling, something like, I don't know, Witcher, Expedition 33, I'm not sure if you're gonna get that from this game. But if you're into exploring worlds and finding out a bunch of cool stuff and, you know, maybe building a settlement, setting a village on fire on top of a dragon, and
yeah, it's an immersive action RP. It's an immersive action adventure game, sort of kind of like Breath of the Wild. Even the you want to know the funny thing is, Breath of the Wild, their story was second to the exploration.
Stuff like that. Maybe this game is for you, because there's a lot of like exploring and.
Bro, why are you talking to a little girl up on a?
Maybe this game is for you, because there's.
It's like, yo, kid, you need to go back to your parents.
A lot of like exploring, and the world seems very rich with lots of things you can do. Maybe
whoa, she's not real.
GTA, Breath of the Wild.
There we go.
And
she knows.
Where Winds Meet?
Yeah, exactly. I think Where Winds Meet is more of an RPG, and yeah, it's lit. She's right. Thank you. See, Luality knows. He's like Luality and Wolfheart know that this is not an RPG. This is an action adventure game where you go out there and you get yourself immersed and do certain things.
It's more rooted in like realistic and medieval system.
It's action adventure.
A lot of magic
Smash.
And fantastical things.
Oh, I'll be right back.
What were my first impressions of Crimson Desert? It was fun. It was intriguing. It was interesting, but at the same time, it was like very different. There were things that I had like trouble with. Like for example, the controls. They were a little bit overwhelming, but it could also be given the environment I was. But at the same time, I also found myself being very curious about what
cool.
I could find in
Sounds
the
cool with the
world
controls.
and where things could lead.
I'm cool with it.
I found myself wanting to play the game.
I play
more the
MMO
next
games, so I'm
day
good.
After I played it for the first time, and I don't really know any game that's exactly like this. It's kind of like a single-player RPG made by a company that's known for making an MMO. Part of me is really happy
Is that onion
a
soup?
company like that is trying to try and make games that I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
bread and
onion
butter.
soup.
I'm
That
intrigued.
must.
So far, I would say I have a positive first impression of it, and it was a good time. If this game is for you,
I know I'm trying to listen to her, but I like the fact that I'm not looking at the subtitles, but I'm looking at the way the characters are reacting to the food, and I already know that they fucking hate onion soup, and the fact that their squad has been reduced to basically living in just a shack, and just by not looking at the subtitles, the way they're animated is very well done, to the point I don't need to look at the subtitles. Also, I do like the fact that there's a very manosphere, a monastic sort of like brotherhood going on with the team here, and I do like that like men are the prime, people in the gray mains. I think that's really cool. I think I'm really glad about that.
it's kind of like a single-player RPG made by a company that's known for making an MMO. Part of me is really happy that a company like that is trying to try and make games that are my bread and butter. I'm intrigued. So far, I would say I have a positive.
Yeah, Joey, 100% Joey. Joey said people have forgotten the separation of action and adventure and RPG these days. Usually stats and leveling equals, oh my god, RPG. Exactly. And also, I've noticed that like people are out here saying that God of War is an RPG. And I'm just like, no, it's not. God of War is not an RPG. It's an action adventure game. It is not an RPG. The devs are 90% Korean men and 10%, probably 10%. I saw Korean women there.
If this game is for you or not, only you can.
Val says he loves it for half the gay shit. Val, if you mention gay people one more time, I'm gonna assume you're gay.
Tell. I couldn't interact as closely with the main story of the game, but the dialogue was okay. Sometimes there was some over explanation of dialogue, but the overall setting was fine. You start trying to be either a good guy, but you can also be a bad person, which leads up to you. There is some.
Where'd you get that helmet?
For example, the way that you learn things that you can do.
Where'd you get that helmet?
Come across something in the world that requires you to dig, but it could be that you don't know how to dig yet. But then if you go to a place like a farm and you see somebody using a shovel, you can observe how they do that, and then you learn how to use a shovel. This is literally
Breath of the Wild.
And then you can go back to where you thought it would be interesting to dig, and then you can do that. So basically you learn everything that you can do in the game by observing NPCs and other people doing them. That goes for punches, digging, raising walls, lifting stuff, and a bunch of any systems. You can interact with basically every animal. You can grab them. In fact, interacting in this game is a little bit more complex than in a lot of other games. I had to press a button when facing a person, and then you could see the options that you could do with that person. So you can't just press E and interact and you do something. So you would have a list of options, and depending on what you're interacting with, that list could be bigger or smaller. That goes from things like talking, trading, stabbing them. You can pet dogs. You can even grab cats and hold them in your arms.
Why would I do that? I'm not a cat person.
To try to feed a dog. If you go in your inventory, you can actually grab stuff and put it in your hands, and your character just holds it in front just something. And it kind of felt like the dog was reacting to what I was holding to it.
That's
I was
cool.
holding an apple. When I tried to drop the item, the dog wouldn't do anything. I brought some raw meat, and then I cooked this raw meat, and I dropped the raw meat in front of the dog.
Wolfheart. Wolfheart. Wolfheart, why didn't you do any of this? Wolfheart. You said you couldn't react with anybody.
Ta-da! The dog ate it. Even though the game didn't actually indicate that that was something I could do, I thought it was really cool that I could feed the dog. You can actually make friends with certain animals. So for example, if you pet a dog or if you feed a dog or a cat during multiple days, you unlock like their benefits. I think they can follow you around and help you collect items.
Bro, if you could make animals join you in combat, bro. Oh my god, I'm gonna find the biggest dog.
So I went and I got like cooked food like in a tavern, and the dog didn't want that. So I went back, grabbed more raw meat, and I decided to, instead of dropping on the floor, to throw it to see if the dog would fetch it. The dog did not react at all, except 3 seconds later, a dog came from across town from nowhere and just grabbed the meat and ate it. It was actually kind of funny because, you know, it was very unexpected. I didn't even see that other dog. The little that I could
made a whole side quest.
Find some things, but there's probably a lot more to dive in. The game also has a lot of puzzles. The puzzles, they have no guidance whatsoever. And some people will love it and some people will
I love it when there's stuff that where you have to DSP is gonna play this game for 30 minutes. No. He's gonna play the game for 30 minutes. He's gonna be like, nothing was explained.
Simple. If you go to a place, you need to pay attention to things that are missing. Oh,
did you say pay attention? He needs to play this game.
there is a light that's on here and a light that's off here. Maybe what I have to do is turn the light that's off. If you see, for example, that a wall doesn't feel like it has a continuation, or a wall is like too far in the back and the other is too far forward, so you need to pay attention.
Add lightning modifier and use it
and see what's up. The only guidance you have when it comes like to puzzles, you can use your lantern and things can shine.
I'm sorry, what? You could play the flute and animals follow you? Wait, I did see that. I thought it was part of a side quest. That's just a thing in the game? Man.
Certain things can shine, so you can see that there is something to be solved there. But the game is not obvious at all in how you should accomplish things.
Good.
You can accidentally slap people and then you're going to become wanted in a town, and that's probably not something you will be doing very early in the game, because the guards are quite strong and it will kind of feel like the whole town is coming to beat you up.
I like how they give you a warning because you could actually accidentally hit the button and slap somebody. I do appreciate the warning that it shows. However, I have seen two instances where she just slapped a grown-ass man and everybody's standing there like, stop it. Stop what you're doing. However, I've seen a clip where if you slap a child and they start crying, the whole village is on your ass.
But it's definitely something that you can probably explore later in the game, especially because as you progress through the game, your character, I feel like you start feeling like as a one-person army. And when I say your character, I need you to keep in mind that you can actually play as 3 different people in the game. I'm not exactly how, except I think it's through the main story. As you progress the main story, you can unlock 2 different characters. One is a girl and the other is don't know, he kind of looks like an orc or something.
He's an orc,
Those
yep.
other characters, they have different weapons. The girl, she has kind of like a rapier and a greatsword. I don't remember what the orc had. Maybe an axe and something else.
No, she did have a great sword. But the funny thing is, your character can have a great sword. Your main character can have a great sword. Grape sword? But yeah, I don't know.
And there is also the character you start with, that you have a sword and a spear. The interesting thing about those characters you can unlock is that not only that they play a little bit different, controlling them feels a little bit different as well. I felt like it was better to jump with the girl than it was with the first character.
So fucking based. Did you guys know this? Apparently, in Korea, they are very, very meticulous about male and female. Like, they know being hot is where it's at. And females can do certain things that males cannot. And males can do things that a female cannot. And they know that females, turns out, they're very acrobatic more than men. So they gave her the better hops. And let me guess, the men have better strength, bro. Based.
Also, you can either summon them to you, or you can leave them in different areas of the world.
What?
And you can just teleport to that area as somebody else. I'm not sure how you can use that, but it felt to me like you could use that for something.
What?
While in the beginning of the game, I did...
is that Asmongold?
Tasks. There was a lot of little quests, like, for example, give money to the beggar. I could play rock, paper, scissors with the kids.
I thought you were about to punch the kid.
Help a lady that was tied down in the sewers for some reason.
Smash.
I could help a kid rescue their cat from the ceiling because the cat was stuck there. I saw a man fall from a roof, literally rolled down from the roof, and his wife screaming at him because he couldn't clean their chimney. So I went there, grabbed the broom, and cleaned their chimney.
That's fucked up.
You can do a bunch of little...
Yo, that's fucked up, bro. Shut that bitch up, bro. He's doing the best he can to fix the roof. Get this. Oh, man. Fuck that bitch.
Rolled down from the roof, and his wife screaming at him because he couldn't clean their chimney. So I went there, grabbed the broom, and cleaned their chimney. So you can do a bunch of little tasks helping people, and even like doing little things, like for example, you can basically greet any citizen in the settlement, in the town, and they can start liking you more. I don't know what's the benefit of getting the people to actually like you more or less and what that does, but
economy. There's an economy system later on that's just like, oh, we live over here and we know that guy, he's got good trust with us, we can give him good deals on goods. But that's what I know so far.
It seems like there will be consequences to being liked or disliked. I know for the animals, the dog and the cats, they can follow you around and collect stuff, but I'm not sure for people. But also, later in the game, I got to ride a dragon. While I couldn't go with the dragon in town, like kind of like mounts, there's also like a mech that you can use, and you can like shoot people with the mech. You are not allowed to take those in town, but you can still go like to farms and stuff. So of course I took a dragon, I flew above a farm, I set fire to the fields, I set fire to the house, and I was like so happy. And the game warned me that I was wanted, and I was not afraid of that. I thought it was kind of cool. I accidentally pressed the brown button.
Accidentally? Accidentally?
That was a really good time.
Accidentally?
The combat of this game kind of like a mix of maybe...
Bro, the armor in this game. You ever see somebody in armor and you're like, bro, can I steal that? You ever see armor on a character and you're just like, man, I have to betray you and kill you because I want your armor. I think you're a fantastic side character. I think I think you have a lot of values that I have, but your armor, how do I get it? How do I get it? Oh, well, like you kill him and mid-breath he was like, if you just wanted the armor, I could have gave it to you. And you're like, oh shit. Oh fuck. Reload save. Reload save.
Near Automata and Monster Hunter? I don't know. It felt like the parry window was very forgiving. I'll be honest with you guys, I didn't really try dodging too much. I fought a boss, but when I played this game at PAX, in this particular playthrough, I was too busy with my dragon setting fire on random farms.
Right.
To actually worry about the boss fight. But attacking and parrying felt good, but at the same time, I felt like jumping was a little bit weird, at least with the first character. I also felt like my movement speed was very slow. I kind of like wish my character moved faster. And
wait,
I feel like this speed thing is a problem that I had multiple times in the game. I also felt like certain things were faster. You can go up and down elevators, and while the view is stunning and basically everything you see you can go, it felt like I was going up an elevator for like 5 minutes. I just kind of wish that those little moments were a little bit faster. I felt like my horse wasn't going fast enough, but that's mostly it. The controls, I feel like...
I thought there was different speeds with the sprinting. Maybe she doesn't know.
They were the most rough part of the game. It was a mix between... probably me being
I heard about that wood pit.
So it's harder to concentrate, but they didn't feel like where you would press. Not all of them. Like the parry felt like a reasonable place for a parry. It felt like I could do too much to be using a controller. I would assume that playing with mouse and keyboard is probably might feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
But with the controller, whenever you have like a grappling hook that you can use it like to turn a bunch of things in the game. There's a lot of like buttons for you to press. Your character, you can shoot by just pressing L2. So if you hold L2, your character automatically goes into a bow, and if you let go, it automatically shoots. I feel like it's cool that I don't need 2 buttons to shoot a weapon, but at the same time, I feel like I accidentally almost shot dogs that I was trying to pet because I was just pressing the wrong things because I wanted to do something else. This game definitely feels like there is a learning curve, but this... I don't think it's going to be a problem after you get the hang and where everything is.
Yeah.
But it definitely feels a little bit convoluted at the start.
Yeah.
Also, this is something that this will probably... You'll have like more time to digest when it comes like to the controls. But it kind of feels a little bit kind of like in fighting games, how you can have like combos. So
the same thing Wolf said.
Magics, you press like... R1 and L2, or you can use different combos with pressing multiple buttons in a row, or if you press jump 3 times.
I love the executions in this game.
Happen. So as you grow through the game and you unlock skills and abilities and magic and so on, you will be pressing a bunch of button combinations. I'll be straightforward with you guys. At least a lot of the story that I played, I did not find it engaging. It just felt to me more like the story was an excuse to explain how I would get skills and stronger and be able to do more things in the world.
Right.
I kind of treated the story kind of like as a tool rather than something that I was actively engaged with. It could be that it changes. I don't know. Just the very beginning for me didn't really feel very appealing. I feel like maybe the facial expressions, they felt a little bit kind of like numb.
I'm okay with the facial expressions. The voice acting holds up more than the facial expressions, so that's okay. If the story doesn't pan out for people, I guess that's a thing. However, I'm okay with that. I don't need something to where every like it has to be, how do I say this? The characters have to be compelling. The story has to be, when it comes to story, The gameplay is king. Gameplay is always king. The story has to be compelling enough for people to turn the page. Does that make sense? Not, oh shit, this is the best story that I've ever heard, and you've only read 5 pages. No, I'm just saying it has to be compelling enough for somebody to turn the page. Not to where it's just like, oh, if I just keep on doing the main mission, like, I'll be able to do certain moves. Because if you turn the story into, oh, let me just finish up the story, skip the fucking the voice acting and all that stuff, skip the cutscene, just so I could be able to get this horse for free or something like that, or like a mount for free. So it's two things. One, people are gonna skip it because they want to get a mount, or two, people are not gonna skip it because they actually like the characters and the story. So it's one of the two.
I guess the best way I could describe this is like if everyone had a lot of Botox.
You don't need a grandiose story to play.
But that's about it. I also was like quite distracted. The world to me seemed like a lot more interesting. While I was just following this main storyline that I had to cross a bridge, I decided to just jump off the bridge with my horse. It didn't work, so I left the horse. I jump off the bridge and see what was down there and what would happen. So I started collecting a bunch of random animals. So you can collect most animals and you can either release them or I guess make food from them. And maybe you can even sell them to NPCs later. And then I made my way, I crawled back to where I jumped off the bridge and I kept following the guy. He didn't really care that I jumped off the bridge, so it was kind of nice. And then we just kept going. Just for the sake of transparency, I need you guys to understand that the version when we play games...
The guy was like, are you done fucking around?
is not the release build and things change. For the sake of transparency, it's important for me to mention that some of us did encounter bugs in the progression of sometimes puzzles, sometimes things that you're supposed to interact, they are...
At this point with bugs, do not pull off no crashes and no Bethesda bugs, okay? We do not like Bethesda bugs. Bethesda bugs is no longer in anybody's category. That shit was funny 15 years ago, not anymore.
Not interactable, and then the only solution would be reloading an earlier save file. So one of the things that really stood out to me was definitely the world. The world was very pretty. It felt like it had a lot of depth, that I could do a lot with it. You can basically go into any direction and there was like stuff in any direction that you go. And I even found like a mini
it's a playground game
that we had like some of the devs from Black Desert Online just assisting with the event. And some of them say that they hadn't seen that before and things like that. And it happened like quite a number of times.
What the fuck? A tiny castle?
People around me, they were also like finding things and sharing things. Like when Cowboy, he was sitting by my side, he found a cat and he was holding the cat. I was like, oh my god, it's so cute. But because I was being a brute and I was kind of like attacking random people when I came in the game, the cat kind of like had run away. but later I found the cat and I got to hold the cat, so that was good. There's no area, there's a desert, there's forest, there is like so many things. And especially when you're like you have like those islands on the top of the world. It's called, I think, the Abyss. That dimension is kind of like you have a lot of puzzles in that, and while you're on top you
didn't have to load between those two moments.
Those islands on the top of the world is called, I think, the Abyss. That dimension is kind of like you have a lot of puzzles in that, and while you're on top you can see the whole world and it's huge. And I can't imagine how much you can do. There's like bounty boards where you can find bounties of people needing help and bandits and a bunch of random things, or you can literally just walk around the world and if you a bunch of
props to the devs for
people needing help and bandits.
Props to the devs for this old school art. I really like it. Not bad. Really, really, sort of old school 15th century style of art.
And a bunch of random things, or you can literally just walk around the world, and if you hear like people talking about, oh, there is a problem in this place, you can just go to that place and try to investigate it. So there's a bunch of like seeded things for you to find. So
that's where you found the
really
helmet.
Cool. And I hope to dive
that helmet has a thing you can do.
Cool stuff. Like there was a kid who was very sad because the bed.
Yo, get this kid. Yo, get this kid out. Yo, you're lucky. You're lucky I'm not playing right now, kid. I see somebody's kid doing this where they're kicking and screaming. I'd grab my belt so. I'd be like, whatever. Yo, get short. Get short. Who the fuck?
Bandits had stolen his sheep, and I found the sheep, and I actually kind of like died 3 times trying to rescue this sheep. I rescued Wooly. I could literally hold him, and then I didn't walk with Wooly, but I could actually go on my horse while I held the sheep. So it was kind of like a stare of envy.
Why don't you put the sheep on the back of the horse? Whatever. All right, sure.
And people, and it was kind of funny.
Why did the doves do that? Why did you just put it? Come on, you were thinking about Red Dead. You didn't think about Red Dead for 2 seconds and be like, oh yeah, put the sheep on the back of the horse. Nah, son, hold the sheep. Hold. Nah, son, hold the sheep while you're riding the horse.
And then when I got Wooly back, it apparently wasn't Wooly, but the kid was happy anyways, and there was a lot. And that was, to me, the highlights of the game, how you can interact with the world. So, should you buy this game? Well, ultimately, I don't know. I am not benefited in any way whatsoever if you buy the game or not. The best I can tell you is, if you are a person that's playing a game...
Stroke slam his little ass, yeah.
An RPG with, like, tough choices and very immersive storytelling, and you want to maybe get overly attached to your companions, maybe this is not the game for you. But if you're a person who really likes...
You can get attached to characters even though there's not some sort of grandiose sort of Baldur's Gate style. You want to know how fast somebody can like a character? What's a good example? Give me a good example. Hold on. What's a character out there that you like that barely says anything? Can anybody name one? God, who was it? I'm trying to stick to video games, but there's also film out there too. Ah, perfect. You remember the ninja in G.I. Joe? The ninja, the black ninja that's part of G.I. Joe? Nigga doesn't say a goddamn thing, but he's a badass. You don't need much. You don't really need that much.
Engaging with world systems, building stuff, and maybe if you're into Breath of the Wild, this game could be for you. Maybe if you're into MMOs, but you don't really care for the social part of MMOs, but more like going around the world and seeing stuff. This is
perfect example. Gray Fox from Metal Gear. A whole bunch of people like Gray Fox. Gray Fox don't say shit. Gray Fox doesn't say a goddamn thing, but he's cool though.
Probably a game for you. I'm honestly curious how people will react to this, because there's a lot of expectations for this game, and the game does have a lot to it, but at the same time, the game, it's its own thing. It's just trying to stand on its own legs. So I really am curious to see what will be people's reactions to it. Some people, I assume, are going to be disappointed. Some people will be thrilled. It all depends on what kind of game you're expecting to get from this game. I hope that this video has helped you settle down to figure out if this game is for you or not. To me, that's my ultimate goal, that if you do find that the things I told you and talked about made the game...
Oh yeah, this game looks good. The game was fun. I think I'm into it. Why is she not married? Alright, 30 is coming, I'm just saying. But yeah, good. Very, very good. Okay. Yeah, I think it's time for my Resident Evil review. God, yeah, this game's fun. I'm looking forward to it. I am looking forward to that game. Okay. She wanted all the animals. We saw her gameplay. She's a woman. Of course she wants all the animals. It's maybe not her thing. She'll play the game. She'll like it. Okay. Let's go ahead and do it. Whoa, what is this doing here? Get rid of that. What's the box for? Hold on a second. Let me reset this. Yeah, let me try it this way. No dice? Hold on. Let's see. Did you finish the game? Fuck, I missed it. Yes, I did. It's a great game. Definitely highly recommend. I'm about to give this game a 9 out of 10, by the way. Just letting people know if they want to get a fast review out of that. The reason why I'm about to give this game a 9 out of 10 is because I slash a point off of a game if the game is over $60. I just do. Regardless of whether or not you have a deluxe. Your game is $60 and then you do a deluxe edition that's $70. I slash a point. No game should be over $60. Period. See, I'm different than IGN. I focus on the gamer, the customer, and in times like these, paying $70, which basically, like any person, like if you're like me, $70 sounds like $100. I'm sorry, that's just how my... Does anybody do that with your brain where you're like, oh, is that... That's $7? Might as well be $10. Oh, this costs $70? Might as well be just $100. I'm not gonna buy it. I always do that with my mind to play, you know, to be like, yeah, that's, you know, to be like, to save money. Let's see, because this screen is freezing. Here, this one's better. Okay. I'm trying to figure out what the hell this is. Yeah, everyone does it. Yeah. Just it's the best way to save money. Is to like what is this bar on the side? Get this thing out of here. Is it because I did this live? Well, Take Hitmon costs 30 crowns these days. I'd rather pay for food than software. Yeah, exactly. Agreed. 50 max as they were before. Enough with the increased cost bullshit when they're just digital codes these days. Yeah, keep on saying, oh, we had to increase the price because of inflation. And I'm like, bullshit. Fucking bullshit. Okay. I think I'll put myself big this time. Okay. I'll turn that off. So I could put myself over myself. Yeah, that's better. Hold on. Well, you're gonna put yourself over the character. So that's fine. Yeah, you can put yourself. It's fine. How about this? Hold up. How about this? That's better. Yeah, that's better. Much better. Okay. I had interns at my workplace today, so old as World of Warcraft. Yep. I bought Crimson Desert with that in mind. Yeah, exactly. I think I can start this conversation off with, how should I do this? Performance, a little bit of story, a little bit of story in the characters, and then the gameplay, and then a little bit of controversy, and then end it there. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Yeah. Okay. Hey everybody, this is Mr. Hardcore Mode, where nothing is easy. Warriors and Wenchers, how are y'all doing? And God bless. We are here to do a review on Resident Evil 9 Requiem. This game actually surprised me. I thought that this game was going to be the game is, of course, all Resident Evil games are pretty short, maybe like 11 to 17 hours. But this game surprised me on how good it was, not only with the gameplay, but also it surprised me with the story. Now, we are going to start off with the performance, then I'll go with the story and the characters, and then I'll talk about the gameplay and other issues later on. First off with the performance, let's be honest, some people had crashes and freezes with this game. I did too later down the road when I was playing Leon, which is one of the characters. That did happen to me. However, I was able to fix it because I took off DLSS off of my sort of settings for the graphics, and then I was able to get through, and then I could put my stuff way back up to what it was, which I'll be honest, that was the only thing that held me back. I got lucky. However, some other people did not. So I feel for them. So that's me. So I have to recognize that indeed did happen, but also to the fact that this game is so smooth and so clean and so well done. Unlike Monster Hunter Wilds, which was complete dog water with its re-engine, this is where Capcom needs to realize what the re-engine is or do a complete overhaul with the re-engine. Your game is meant specifically for short, smaller areas. It is not meant for anything bigger than that. You've tried it. Now you got to figure something out. But what I want to say is I was able to put everything on high quality and have the game run smoothly. The hair strands on one of the characters, Grace, looks really good. The way the characters look, the way the rain looks, the ray tracing. By the way, ray tracing and path tracing are two completely different things. When I played the game like halfway, I didn't realize that there was path tracing. So I put on path tracing and Grace's face looked completely different, like it was supposed to look that way. So when I put path tracing on, character in the world looked way better, like 100%. The game ran well for me. I have a 4060 Ti. I have a decent Ryzen AMD card, or CPU. I think I have a 550 motherboard, something around there. Sorry if I'm kind of lackluster. I don't remember off the top of my head, but thank God that I had enough RAM to take care of this game, because usually it's around 15. It uses up 15. Is it gigabyte? Yeah, it uses up 15 gigabytes of RAM, and I had just enough to stream and play the game and run it smoothly and do well. So that's where it is. If you have 16-bit of RAM, if you have 16 gigabytes of RAM, you need more. And right now it sucks for people to get more RAM. But all in all, for me, looks great. It still needs work. Great graphics though, it still needs work. Now, let's talk about the overhaul story and the characters. You follow the instance. This is way after Raccoon City. Leon is like 49 years old, and there's another character, Sherry, that is close to being, like, I believe 30 or 40 years old. I believe, no, she's like 30-ish years old. This character will be introduced. It's way later, and Raccoon City, of course, from Resident Evil 2, it's already happened, but there's a whole new virus being produced for a thing called Elpis, which is a new thing that we have to worry about. Of course, it's always the standard, oh, I'm a researcher doctor and I'm trying to make a new virus, a bioweapon. Hence case Biohazard 9 fucking Requiem. The story is interesting. The antagonist, I gotta be honest, the antagonist is done very well. He's a mesh between, I believe his name is Victor Gideon. He's a mesh between trying to help people as a researcher, scientist, with madness meld together, which I find really, really well done. Really good voice actor. We have a main character named Grace, who is, after her past with her mother, there is the way she acts, she stutters a lot. She has a lot of anxiety. A lot of bad stuff happened to her in the past, so that's the way she acts. However, the way she moves and acts in this game is... well, let's just say when you're in third person and you're running away, she trips and falls. And I'm just like, listen, I get it. The way the character is supposed to be is she's supposed to be stuttery. She's supposed to not know how to talk. She's just a data analyst for the FBI. She doesn't know much about, like, she's lived alone, so she's very shy. And the way I'm like, okay, that's fine if she's like that, but when you meld it over to me, like I'm running away from a giant monster and she's tripping on the ground, I'm gonna be like, bruh, I'm okay with the character being the way she is. Don't bring it to me, okay? Don't bring it to me, all right? Let her be her and let me run away from the monsters like I should be, instead of her standing there all frightened and stuff. And I'm like, why is my character not moving? oh, she's scared of the monster. I don't like that. I don't like that. By the way, the game should be done in third person only. The whole first person fucking thing was cool with 7 and Resident Evil 7 and 8, but we need to go back to third person. Okay, we need to go back to third person. It was fun while it lasted. Back to third person the way it should be. But let's go back to the story and the characters. Leon is also in this game. Much older man, and of course the ladies like it. Of course the ladies like it. A lot of people actually like the way Grace looks too. Cute face, petite body. I think she's cute. She's all right with me. So that's appealing for men like me, and it's appealing for women who like Leon, because they like that old gruff looking sort of older, you know, Leon character with the one-liners and everything. He is so badass in this game, bro. He carries his own. So basically, with the story being the way it is, these are the two things you can take away from the story. One, for Grace, she was sent here to assess the. By the way, if you're wondering what my character is doing, I'm trying to move the monster away from the area that I need to be. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that when Grace starts off, she is sent to a place in Westford or Rhodes Hill or something, where her mother died, where her mother was killed. And I was like, wait a minute, she's an FBI agent. Isn't she too close to the crime? Usually when you're too close to the crime, you shouldn't be added to the crime. You know, he's like, you're too deep. You shouldn't be in this. But apparently they're like, yo, you can you do this for me? And I'm like, last time I checked, it's like, you don't really have a choice when you're in the FBI. When your superior officer tells you to do something, you do it. I don't know why he would say that. And why would you send her over here? She's too compromised for this whole thing. And then another thing, they sent this small bitch on her own. They sent her on her own to this I don't know any FBI that goes out alone to a area this dangerous. It's like, yeah, it's burnt down. Yes, every FBI agent has a man with them. The fact that they let this small DEI bitch in here, I'm just like, bro, she has no gun skills. I mean, she obviously has no training in combat. And I'm like, bro, you need to give her more FBI like pull. Yes, she's a data analyst, but even data analysts know what to do. Okay? You don't just send a data analyst over there alone. You're supposed to send a man with you, a second person with you. Oh, and by the way, when she went to the crime scene in the very, very beginning of the game, all she wore was a jacket and a white shirt, and she had a book bag. No FBI clothing whatsoever, not even a tag. So when she went to the area that was barred off by white tape that said off limits, a policeman said, hey, you're not allowed to be there. He's like, can I help you? And obviously, he doesn't know who the fuck you are because you're not wearing FBI clothes. What the fuck? He's like, ma'am, can I help you? You're not supposed to be in here. And then what does she do right in front of the police? She pulls out her book bag and tries to grab something in her book bag. Ladies and gentlemen, what is the one thing you don't want to do right in front of the police? When you have no credentials on you for being on the FBI, no tag, no nothing, no gun holster to your side. By the way, she had her gun in her book bag, not on her holster or anything. She had no lanyard or anything. She just pulled out her book bag. And I'm like, bro. But the devs didn't think about that. Oh, everybody knows that pulling out your book bag right in front of a police officer is a good thing to do. No. And don't come up to me with this bullshit saying, oh, Grace is she's just anxiety. Fuck the anxiety. She's got a job to do. She's supposed to wear an FBI jacket. Actually, there's a costume for her where she can wear the FBI thing with the tag on front of her. She could have wore that. I don't know why she's wearing casual clothes. She could wear like FBI like blazer and all that stuff. She could have. There's FBI raincoats. It was raining and there's FBI raincoats, bro. How do you miss the layup of her wearing an FBI fucking raincoat? And when she went into the dark area, the dark hotel, and then she saw that there was a note that said, hey, I'm so glad you're here. Here's the key to my room upstairs. Come on up. Oh, I got a picture of you. Yeah, I stalked you. Here's a picture of you while you were working. I stalked you. Here's a key to my room upstairs. And then all of a sudden, now she brings out her gun. Now she brings out her gun out of her book bag. And I'm like, bitch, you need it. You need it now. Now you got... Listen, there's a difference between professionalism and a personality, okay? I have a certain personality. I have a certain disorder. I have a certain thing that I have certain issues of my own. But guess what? I got a fucking job to do when I get to work. I have to put it to the side. Did they ever think about that? Oh, well, she's just quirky and she doesn't know how to speak to the people. Fuck you and fuck your own fucking bullshit, okay? That's what you... See, this is why you motherfuckers out there get fucking fired and unemployed. Because you see this and you're like, oh, that's just how she is. You're fired. It's like, hey, I need you to clean the... it's like, welcome to the lifestyle of working on construction. I need you to climb up there on the 3rd floor and work on the floorboards and, you know, get the filters, and I need you to climb up there and work on the wooding up there. Yeah, but I'm afraid of heights. You're fired. You got certain abilities, certain disabilities, certain things. You shouldn't have signed up. Anyway, over to Leon. What do I gotta say about Leon? He's perfect. Let's move on to the gameplay. The gameplay is very, very well done. I do have to respect the developers for making Leon be the badass person that already knows what he needs to do, and the sort of kick-ass sort of way that he can just take care of enemies. He can kick... The way you can do melee and one-shot kills is so fantastical, and the way that you can have a parry system and block out enemies and then make them, you know, kneel in front of you and then chop their head off. It's so clean, so well done. There's every time when I think about it, I want to get back onto the game. Absolutely. And by the way, there are so many different ways that the enemy can kill you into this game. I think I'm playing on insanity mode right now, and I'm finding like 5 different ways you can die. One of them was where somebody sticks a needle in your neck, and then your character's eyes go bloodshot, and then you start bleeding out of your eyes. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? That's fucking crazy. I thought that shit was fucking... I mean, come on, man. It's like, I like horror movies. I like that sort of thing. But I do gotta say, when it comes to guns, there are some guns that do less than others, of course. But it feels like some of these guns are kind of the samey. I kind of miss the lifestyle when you had a grenade launcher. This is from Resident Evil 4. Don't hate on Resident Evil 4. I think it's fucking great. I mean, you had a grenade launcher, you had a rocket, but definitely you had weapons that worked and weapons that didn't. And I don't know, man. It's kind of like you sort of feel it and you sort of don't. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to say because I'm shooting somebody in the head like 6 times and I'm just like, why aren't you on the ground by now? You know what I mean? I always try to figure out exactly how to end their life completely and quickly. And it's like, sometimes you'll run into an enemy that the one enemies later on into the game with the, you know, I'm not going to spoil anything, but basically, it's a different type of enemy. And then I quickly figured out that the only way that I can kill this person is to take off their head completely. Okay, you would have to take care of every enemy's head completely. So now it's come to this moment where it's just like, this enemy is so fucking aggressive that the only reason that he's around is because his head is still intact. So you have to go up to every enemy that you've killed and their body is still there, and you're just like, yo, I gotta fucking destroy this head. I gotta make sure the body is completely gone. I kind of like that sort of survivability where you're looking at the dead enemies that you've already killed and you're like, could this body get back up and then go into a different transformation? And I'm like, okay, well, here's the thing. Do you kill everything and destroy their body using up all your resources, or do you run away? I chose to run away with the Grace character because the Grace character is built for stealth, 100%. She is built for stealth. At first I hated it, but on second thought, I thought based, by the way, because females can't fucking fight. They shouldn't be in the FBI anyway. And secondly, I thought it was like, okay, now I gotta think methodically about how to take care of a certain situation. I have avoided so many fucking enemies because of how quickly and how quick-witted I would think about how do I get out of this situation. And then I was able to pull it off where I would avoid monsters and get to the next area. Then they make me play Leon and I go to the same place that the lady was at and I just kill all the rest of the ones that she left. I thought it was fucking great. I was like, okay, she can't take care of that. She can't take care of that. She can't do that. Okay, let's leave. And then she leaves and then Leon comes by and fucking cleans the rest of the house. I think it's really cool, really well done. I really like the combat. It's there is one thing that I didn't like that was kind of game breaking. Well, not game breaking, but it was a stupid plot. So this is one of the reasons why I don't like Grace is because, well, the reason why I don't like Grace is because there is a child involved in this sort of mishap. And so the child is blind, right? She's cataracts. And so the sign needs somebody who understands Braille. When in actuality, you don't really need the child to understand the puzzle to get the last key. All you had to do, she already had the codes, the symbols to figure out the last thing, the last puzzle, the last key that we need to open the door and get to the next area. But she's too stupid to realize that she could just try it herself, press a button, and figure it out herself. Instead, she brought the child over, risked the child's life to get over here. And guess what happened? Can you guess what happened when we brought the child out of the cage? I mean, to be honest, we should get the kid out of the area. I mean, let's be honest, we do need to get the child out of the area, but that's not what she said. Her whole thing was, can you help me with the puzzle? She wasn't saying, bro, do you want to get out? No, she was focused on the puzzle, okay? She didn't say like, bro, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. It's like, no, she said, I need you. And so the kid finally figures out how to open the puzzle. She literally could have done it herself by just guessing. And guess what happens to the kid? Kid gets caught. Kid gets caught in the action. And I'm just like, and she's like, it's all my fault. Yes, it's your fault, bitch. This is why so many people are playing the game and they're just like, I want to play Leon. Yo, did that bitch fucking throw a fucking... I don't remember that part. I don't remember that part. Anyway, let's move on to... I do gotta say the gameplay is fucking great, and I do like how over the top Leon's combat can be. I love that. I want that back. Please, please do. I do want to talk about a little bit of controversy on the, by the way, this game is zero wokeness. I think this game is great. It's really fun. Do I got mods on this game? Shut the fuck up. I do like the fact that well, this is what happens when you bring attractive characters into a game. And you do notice that a lot of women are just going feral for attractive characters, but nobody's saying anything. Everybody's just like, oh yeah, girls like men. Oh my god, girls like men. Go ahead, girlfriend. Then a guy says, yo, let's mod up Grace. And then here comes these fucking fat, ugly whores online, these fucking limp dick fucking men online saying, hey sir, I'm the horny police. What a fucking gay thing to claim yourself to be. I hate these fucking internet dads and shit. Go fuck yourself, okay? Fuck yourself to the moon, okay? If we're gonna have it one way, we should have it the other way. Let's start with this one.
Oh my god, let me see him! Let me see his face! Let me see that run-down, worn face!
Hey,
Give me that man face!
It might be unrelated, but he disappeared near where the fifth body was found. You there, Leon?
Dad! Daddy! Oh my god! Oh my god, I peed!
Yeah, that's enough of that. Oh, another one.
At any time,
Leon, what's your sit rep?
I'm going after Victor.
I mean, I'm literally saying right there, on the sidewalk, in the rain, in the car, on the street, in the traffic, in front of the moving cars, anywhere, at any time, at any place of his choosing. Lord.
So, you mean to tell me this game that has sold millions, it has already sold more than 5 million copies. You mean this game? You mean to tell me the Gooning was the correct answer all along? No way. No way. This is why you need to trust your gut, ladies and gentlemen, that this was the correct move all along. Of course, Grace has a very pretty face. There's a lot of fans out there. Some people were like wondering, wait, why does the DLC make Grace's ass bigger than her? I firmly believe, I do strongly believe that there's a lot of Karens in Capcom right now that are just like, make Leon great, make Leon great, make Leon fucking great. And then somebody in Capcom was like, we also need to make Grace look great. And they were just like, fine. That can be true. You know what I'm saying? That can be definitely fucking true. And so there is that controversy right there. I'm happy for the women that enjoy this. I'm happy for the men that also enjoy this as well. You know, for what we have right here is a great game. By the way, Insanity mode changes the game completely. What you saw when I played this game on classic mode is completely different to what they add in Insanity mode. The way that giant shadow ghost monster you see with Grace moves is completely different. That bitch, yo, she changes the game. She changes the game. In the first one, I was like, okay, how do I get out of this situation? Okay, this is how I get out of the situation. In Insanity mode, she flips the fucking rules. I'm just like, you didn't do that before, bitch. You didn't do that before. And I do have to firmly add this right now because we're at the end here. I can understand that some people are kind of upset about the lore changes and the retcons. I can completely understand that. Hey, I used to like Dragon Age. I completely understand you. I completely understand you. I know there were some retcons between the Resident Evil 2 and the Resident Evil 2 remake. I completely understand. For me though, I like the game. If you don't like the game, completely understand. I've been there. I've firmly been there. I think they still cater to you guys, but if this one changes the map too much, I understand completely. So I want to end it off with this. The game for me is a 9 out of 10. The reason why it's not a 10 out of 10 is because the game is $70. You guys know how I feel about $70. Yeah, any game that's over $60 is no, just no. I'm even thinking about 60 is I'm even thinking about 60 is too much. Any game that is over that amount, no, just no. 100% no. It's just not right. But at the end of the day, definitely give this game a chance when it's on sale. That is my review. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you guys next time. Peace. I'm gonna play on insanity mode. Insanity mode. I know how to speak. Shut the fuck up. Gooning both ways is the only way to make things equal. Exactly. Exactly. Oh, did I forget something? I think I did. Hold on one second. I forgot a little bit of content that we got. Appreciate you all being here. How you doing with it? I'm glad folks enjoyed it for real. I don't wish to yuck anyone's yum. It's always good to yuck people's yum. I do have to say, it's you listen. Let me tell you about the whole yuck anybody's yum. You do have to voice your opinion. You have to. You firmly have to. 100%. That way you can get, you don't have to go around saying like, bro, I hate this game, therefore you're playing it, therefore I hate you. You can display your opinion any way you want. It's like, hey man, the game that you're playing, I just don't like it. I don't like this or this. They retcon this. I don't like this, but I do see why people like it. You know, I completely understand. If you're on to somebody's YouTube or stream and then they don't like it when it's not even negativity. It's open dialogue and like opinions. 100%. This whole toxic positivity thing is for the birds. It has not worked. It does not work 100%. It does not work. It's like, this is why I like what's his name? This is why I like Co Carnage, because he'll listen to both sides, and like yeah, it's great. I think that's great that he does that. Let's see, one second. I have some people on my channel who watch me play certain things. Like I played certain indie games and they said, hey, this game looks all right, but I don't like the art design and it's just not for me. And I told him, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, absolutely. I 100% see what you mean. Here we go. There it is. By the way, you were looking for the word diff. Dill for Leon, and because of the retcons, just like the Dragon Age, we got to keep the same energy, so it would be an 8 or 8.5 because of retcons, right? You have a point. I don't do 0.5s or anything. I would just make it an 8 out of 10. I don't like doing the point shit. I think that's gay. It's like if there's retcons, I could make it an 8 out of 10. That's fine. Yeah. Oh, thanks for the likes on the stream, guys. I appreciate that. Hold on. I'm just setting up for the next one. One of those copies was mine and I regret it. Talk about a crazy fall off in the second half of this game. Yikes. Wait, why is it doing that? Okay. What is this? I'm afraid to find out. I'm afraid to find out. I don't know. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna ignore that. Alright, let's just stick to the... God damn, I wish I didn't see that. Alright. Hey everybody, this is Mr. Hardcore Mode, where nothing is easy. Warriors and witches, how y'all doing? And God bless. It has been finally time. Highguard has finally imploded and it is being shut down. Yes, yes, we won. We won. Pat yourself on the back. We, as gamers, do not care who you are or what sort of lifestyle or personality you are. If you cannot provide for us a game that is equal parts gameplay fun and appealing to the eyes, whether it be attractive or even artistic style or artistic design with greatness, much like Resident Evil 9 Requiem, then we're not going to buy your game. And the gamers have spoke. I only talked to about 50 of you people on here. Do you think that, or even, it doesn't matter how many people, how many of us YouTubers or streamers have, you know, viewing your channel? Who speaks for the broad majority? It's you guys. It's you. This is the free fucking market. This is why these types of people cannot survive. We choose what we put on the table. And by the way, this game was fucking free. We hated your game even though it was free. Wait, no. Oh, I was thinking of Marathon. No, this game is free. Marathon is the one that's $40. So, Highguard's final update arriving soon. Thank you for playing with us. Today we're sharing difficult news. We have made the decision permanently shut down Highguard on March 12th. Since launch, more than 2 million players stepped into Highguard's world. You shared feedback, created content, and many believed in what we're building. For that, we are deeply grateful. This is why Jeff Keighley made it 2 million. Okay? Jeff Keighley made it 2 million. You would have way less if Jeff Keighley wasn't helping you. That's why. The games that we saw at the VGAs that we liked have already been shown, okay? I want to play FOTOR. That Mega Man game that you showed, I wanted to see the Mega Man game. There's even other indie games on there that I definitely would suggest to be the last game to show at the VGAs. But you chose Highguard because obviously Tencent is tied to fucking the VGAs, which we'll talk about here later about Tencent. This is the bullshit that's going to happen, is that a lot of people are going to be like, man, guys, you guys are hating on it, wishing for its downfall. No. Yeah, we are. Yeah. You do not provide us with something substantial, we will not play your game. Period. Congratulations, everybody has a phone, so we see your game, we check out your game, and we play your game, and we decide, it's not gonna fucking cut it. Congratulations, you played yourself. The funny thing is about this whole thing is that you missed an entire fucking layup. I'll say it again. The fact that you guys used to work with Apex Legends and Titanfall, and everybody has said we want Titanfall 3, and you went with horses and barriers and a big fucking bitch with a mask on, shows exactly who you are. I think Dr. Disrespect says it better. He says, this is what happens when he, hims, she, hers, and they, thems team up on massive creative endeavor. Proven repeatedly, it doesn't work. Exactly. Exactly. There are too many fucking developers that should be working at a fucking coffee shop. Okay? We have lowered the bar for these developers to be hired so low that they're just bringing people in and then throwing them out, because they keep on saying, hey, I know what we should do. We should just keep on making live services. That's all we want to do. We just want to make another live service. Another live service, please. You want to know the funny thing about this whole thing is that somebody mentioned fucking, I thought you guys were all about stop killing games. Newsflash, even the stop killing games guy even said, hey, your game's not good. You gave us a game that's not good, that nobody wants to play. You know what happened after the hype? Only 600 people played. You gave us a product that was not good. And so it comes to a realization to all these people seeing that, oh, this game's going to be offline. Well, that's funny. I thought these live service games are supposed to be like a forever game. Surprise, surprise, when you play a live service game, you're supposed to play it until you die, or play it until you get bored, and then spend money frivolously over again and again. All these live services, all these skins, all this stuff that you do on them, they do not fucking last. For some odd reason, the old Call of Duty games still have servers. I wonder why that is. Because they were simple multiplayer games for that purpose only. You can play the old Call of Duty games. They have servers for them. But these fucking live service games are just like, listen, dump money into this game until we throw it away 10 years later and then give you another Highguard. That's what this is. It's like, oh shit, well, what happened to my whole perfect example, Overwatch 2. Why did they make Overwatch? You remember when, I don't know about you guys, but I played Overwatch back then. Overwatch 2 came out and they said, oh, you need to put your fucking cell phone on the Battle.net website to transfer all your skins over to the Overwatch 2. And I was like, this is bullshit. Whatever, let me get it out of the way. Guess what they did? They turned it back to Overwatch. So what the fuck was the reason that for us to give us our fucking phone number and shit? It's all live service slop. It's a game that's not forever, meant to, that is said that they're forever. They say that they're forever, but they're not forever. It's like Hoyoverse with their gacha games. This is why I don't play gacha games anymore, because they are not forever. They are the same game. Hoyoverse comes up with another game, and it's the same game as the last game. And I'm like, which character is this from? Oh, it's from that game. Are you sure? Because I have a feeling that I've seen this character in another Hoyoverse fucking gacha game. All these live services are just shitting shit out, hoping that it will stick, and then just could increase their revenue until they're done with it. There's even talks about people getting rid of Genshin Impact and saying like, Genshin Impact is, we're talking about it. We're talking about Genshin Impact's been here for a while. You see what I mean? Sooner or later, they're going to let go of their live services. These sort of live services should not fucking exist. They should not fucking exist. Period. I think PUBG did irreparable damage to the fucking gaming industry, much like Counter-Strike 2 has done irreparable damage, where they're just like, let's just continuously just make skins and then pretend like we're doing something new. That's their clue. So when we see something like Highguard that is not only not fun, you start to peel things away, and it's just like, oh. So if the gameplay is not fun, you start to see quickly that live services can die so fast to where they will go offline after 3 weeks. Fighting Cowboy said some dumb shit over here saying like, I had no interest in this, but you should stop right there. If you had no interest in this, go fuck off, okay? Go fuck off, all right? I don't know what you're doing here. You're supposed to be with us. None of us had interest in it. Surprise, surprise, none of us had interest in this. You know what I'll continue with what he said. I had no interest in this, but it's cringe as fuck seeing people celebrate a game shutting down. Hooray, more devs are getting laid off. Bozo ass behavior. This is the free fucking market. Apparently, Wildlight for Highguard, apparently Wildlight didn't stand on business. You remember when you said that, Fighting Cowboy? You remember standing on business? You forget that shit? Fucking flabbity ass arm bitch. They were standing on business. They didn't figure out the market. See, all of these new developers that are barely even developers, they should be fucking making a latte. All of them are just marketers. They're just marketing. They do not focus on games. They focus on market. Hey, I used to be a fucking developer. Oh, where? At Ubisoft. Get the fuck out of here. All of you are just marketing tools. You do not make games. You make engagement tools. And then he says, it's weird to celebrate people getting off. They deserved it. Yeah, y'all are fucking weird. They fucking deserve... When a restaurant gives you your food, but there's shit on it, are you gonna eat the shit? I didn't think so. I didn't like the burger place down the street from me, but I wasn't celebrating when they closed. I just moved on with my day. The Skyrim NPC type behavior. Hey, that's the free fucking market. And also, you need to go to the burger place. You don't want them getting to shut. Do you care about them getting shut down or not? Because why are you pretending that you care when you don't care? This is the fucking communist leftist bullshit that they try to do, where they try to do this toxic positivity bullshit, where they're just like, man, that guy out there, that guy out there outside my house, the beggar, man, he needs money. He needs money, man. He needs to get a roof over his head. Well, you can help him right now. Not me. But bro, beggar outside. He needs that money. And then the police come on by saying, hey, sir, you can't be in front of people's houses like this begging for money, and then fighting cowboys like, hey, leave him alone. Even though I don't want him around here, leave him alone. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's like, anyway, I'm muting this shit. What a bitch. Anyway, I'm muting this shit. Some genuinely disturbed weirdos are popping up in the comments. Been so busy enjoying games, I forgot. Did you finish Assassin's Creed Shadows? Did you finish Assassin's Creed Shadows, the game that you were pissed off your own fans for? No, you were saying Assassin's Creed Shadows is fucking great. Did you finish the game? Okay. I've been so busy enjoying games, I forgot some people make hating shit for their main personality. Dude, you're hating on all of us. I like how he sucks the dick of developers, but listen, my hate is different than your hate. No, bitch, that's not how it works. Go fuck yourself. The ones that are on the top, the ones that decide the success of developers are the customer. That is the way the free market works. All those muscles, and he hasn't developed any brain cells. I said to him, we are customers. If you don't give us what we want, then it's all on you. When the waiter feeds you shit, you don't accept it, you shut the restaurant down, period. Your opinion at the end of the day does not matter. The market will speak for itself. Quit being an online dad bitch. This one guy said, LMAO, don't care of all these devs, Lilith's women and DEI hires get fired, make slop, get a flop. They should make good games if they don't want to be laid off. True. Gamers have had enough shill. He called him a shill boy. He didn't like that. Oh my gosh. Perfect. And even when Dr. Disrespect agrees with me, there's one person that said, what happened to your game? And he said, studio closed when they lost me. That's actually true, though. That's 100% true. That's 100% true. 100% true. Anyway, for Highguard, this is the last time I'm going to speak on it because it's a dead game. Nobody wants it. None of us want it. Even the shills don't even want it. They shilled the game up long enough, and I think Marathon is well on its way to be the next one. We're about to find out. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Nobody wants to see people lose their jobs, but we're not a charity here. We are not a charity. We are not a fucking charity. Me on the other hand, for me, I love it. I love cutting grass. And you know what I like? I like getting rid of the weeds. I'm happy for it. I love it. When I see those weeds, I'm just like, man, you gotta get rid of those weeds, bruh. Yeah, you got developers. Yeah, gotta get rid of them. And I'm not talking about indie and AA developers. I'm talking about developers that are trying to shit out fucking games that are appealing for a modern audience. I'm talking about developers that are using their platform to create something that is not only for the modern audience, but just is not a good game. I think another example would be 1348 Ex Vato, that lesbian night bullshit. I hope that development team falls too. 100%. 100%. You are not making a game about anything substantial. You are just making a game for 2% of the audience. You know what would have been great is if the developers for that game made a game about a princess who was kidnapped, and a man knight comes out, tries to save the princess. A simple story like that. A very simple story. That sounds very nice. But when I see this ugly ass fucking like dyke bitch, I'm just like, are you serious right now? You got the one princess looking like some Attack on Titan character. No. I will not be playing your game. Nope. Nope. Just give actual fans what they want. Fuck these tourists and game developers. A lot of these developers are trying to fucking be like, for example, Neil Druckmann. He's not a fucking game developer. He wants to go into the film industry. And a lot of these fucking developers are trying to be like some sort of like artist. Not the artist that you're thinking, okay? The we're not talking about like art design like Expedition 33. We're talking about art design like, oh yes, here's a game about a psychological like horror about like a woman, and this is a story about me fucking getting abused by my father. And I'm like, that's not a fucking video game. It's not. That sort of thing should be a movie, not a video game. Who wants to play a game about, oh shit, my daddy touched me? I would love to play a game like that. That should be a movie or a short film with like fucking French writing on it. Who out here wants to play a game? It's like, everybody's like, I think these stories need to be told. They need to be told in film, not as a fucking video game. Okay? Nobody wants to be like, oh man, hold on, let me be this character real quick. Let me be this character real quick. And I'm just like, unbelievable. The museum artists. I think a perfect example is when you see the whole marathon game, and then they start flashing all these random words and writing and symbols in your face, and you're just like, what is any of this shit supposed to even mean? It's just throw up art. It's just throw up art. You remember that marathon trailer where some guy is trying to whisper into your ear like, I have seen the kings, I have seen the road designed you for one purpose, beyond the gate, beyond the sight, beyond the planes of existence, that will reach down the abyss and claim it for eternity. And I'm like, what the fuck are you saying? It's an extraction shooter. Bro. I had to unwish list a couple of games like that because I would be like, is this a game or is this somebody's fucking thought experiment? I had to. I'd be like, bro, is this a game or is this somebody's thought experiment? I have to know. Okay. Last one, guys. Hey everybody, this is Mr. Hardcore Mode, where nothing is easy. Warriors of Witches, how y'all doing? And God bless. We're here to talk about good old Trump and his administration touching up on Tencent. Tencent is part of the gaming industry. They fully own Riot Games, and I know they're designed with CCP, but pretty much Tencent games, some of them, are actually kind of appealing to some of us. A lot of Eastern games are actually more appealing to our eyes and actually more fun than the slop that we get to the West. But the Trump administration believes that there's more to it than that. I've been thinking about this for a while now, wondering like, why is CCP attached to these games? And I'm sort of kind of worried, and at the same time I'm not worried, because let's be honest, Tencent makes a lot of games that are tied to live services. I am so done with live services. You have no idea. Anyway, let's continue. The Trump administration is debating whether to force Chinese tech giant Tencent to divest its stakes in major gaming companies. Top officials have held meetings to decide whether Tencent's investments in US and Finnish groups pose a security risk. Tencent holds 28% stake in Epic Games, fully owns Riot Games, and maintains a majority stake and Supercell. Now, a lot of people are saying what I'm saying. It's really fitting that Trump would save gaming. I kind of believe that, but also I'm on the other end where it's like, this is gonna be crazy if done. Chinese companies will not invest in the USA. Somebody else says the US government is sitting in a room debating whether the company that owns Riot Games is a security threat, while teenagers are grinding ranked on League of Legends completely. I don't care what he's saying. Here's the idea. Just maybe we shouldn't let foreign nationals invest in heavily in American companies that make them majority shareholders. I really do not like shareholders in any sort of video games, to be completely fair. Invest in good games, win. US, wait, you can't do that. Unfortunately, he's kind of right, because there are some Tencent games that are actually fun, but they really do want to just be fully on live service. So because China is slowly starting to take over America, they're not slowly taking over America, they're taking over the Western market of video games. Everyone is already buying their products. TCL, Hisense, this is why China's kind of mad at us attacking Iran, because Iran produces 80% of China's oil. So I kind of see that. The American people are buying all of this without thinking about the consequences. Is it really a consequence? As a gamer, I give my approval. Donald Trump to do it. He would be doing all of us gamers a favor. Do it. I hope so. This is the thing though, because I kind of want two things can be true. This could be a bad thing and be a good thing, but also at the same time, I do like the fact that the Western side is fighting for like appeal for the gamers, and then there's the Chinese people that are fighting for appeal. They all want our money, okay? These games are for free. Let's get some more information. Is this whole thing true? It is. The Trump administration is currently debating whether to block or force Tencent to divest its investments in US gaming companies and related foreign ones with significant US user bases. It also seems like they're not just they're not just trying to block, but they're also trying to force to divest their investments into the US. So it's not just, oh, we're just going to block you outright. They're giving Tencent some options. This stems from the Financial Times report, widely cited by IGN, Kotaku, all of them, which states that senior White House officials had held meetings to evaluate if Tencent's stakes pose a national security risk, primarily due to potential access to personnel data from millions of American users. Well, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Are we talking about personal data? Because we could say China's trying to get our data. I can agree with you, but it's kind of like, yo, I want the Americans. I want the American users' data. No, I want the Americans' data. So both of y'all are trying to get my fucking data. So let's not do this like, oh yeah, once China's out of the way, nobody's gonna get my data. No. It's just a fight to see who gets it. Like financial info, personal details, in-game chat logs, that sort of shit. Listen, this is why voice chat and chat logs have been shit lately, because, you know, they're trying to make us not say, you know, free Taiwan, that we can't say the N-word in the voice chats. That sucks. We can't fucking say like whatever you want in the voice chat and shit. We can, like, all these things. Listen, back in the day, we used to say whatever the fuck we want. So I don't know what they're talking about. Tencent holds a 28 stake in Epic Games. We already know all this with Clash of Clans. They own all this. The review involves the Committee of Foreign Investment in the United States, CFI-US, a Treasury-led panel that examined these investments for years, dating back to Trump's first term and continuing under Biden. The cabinet level by the way, China was eating us alive while Biden was here. It was fucking ridiculous. That's why we got tariffs on their ass, like up high. Fuck them. The cabinet level discussion was reportedly scheduled, but postponed recently. This is happening ahead of Trump's planned April 2026 meeting that Chinese President Xi Jinping adding a geopolitical trade negotiation layer. The administration hasn't made a final decision yet. Options range from allowing the investments to continue, possibly with data protections, which kind of makes sense, to forcing divestments. So that also makes sense. Like I said before, I don't think it's just an outright block. There's choices here. The same choices we made with Iran, where we said leave us alone, and then Iran said no, we're gonna still try to kill you, and then we bombed them. Tencent has been negotiating mitigations with CFIUS in the past, but the issue has reignited amid broader US-China tensions. Examples: Tencent's 2025 designation as a Chinese military company by the Defense Department, which is disputed. Yeah, Tencent is tied to CCP. Yeah. This is an ongoing deliberation, not a confirmed block, but the debate is actively happening based on multiple credible reports from today. So we're going to hear more within, I believe, April. I think they said, what did they say? An April meeting, 2026. We're going to talk about this again. I don't want to say too much now. I will be 100% with you guys. We should have this conversation. 100%. I think it's a good idea that we have this conversation. Regardless, somebody's going to get our data. Whether it be the US or it's going to be fucking China. So I think this is a good idea because let's be honest, I don't fully hate Tencent, okay? They had a Light of Mortem fucking game that was coming out that looked exactly like Horizon, and that game looked way cooler than fucking Horizon, and then they fucking got dumped by fucking Sony. Like they got sued by Sony, so they went with a settlement, and then they shut down Light of Mortem, which sucks, okay? But they did make it exactly like Horizon. Let's be honest, okay? Tencent steals, okay? Let's just be honest. You could do data protections like sovereign cloud usage, but the US market in the EU is now seen as hostile, and the EU is divesting from American technology and moving towards China. Yeah, EU is China's little bitch right now, 100%, including Canada. Yeah, YouTube chat is heavily censored lately. True. Have it be the people we know that not the people we don't. Kind of like that expression. Yeah, I see what you see, Blunt Angel. So we're gonna end it here. I just wanted to talk about it. We'll wait until the end of April to find out more, and we'll see what happens then. I just wanted to bring this up because I'm actually kind of interested in this conversation, because I've been wondering this whole time, like, hey, who the fuck is Tencent? Like, honestly. But anyway, I'll leave it there. Thanks so much for being here. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Okay, guys. Okay. We're gonna end it there. Thanks so much for joining me, guys. This has been good today. Real good. Really good. I think we got a lot of games to play coming up. I'm super excited. Can't wait to hear more. We'll see about that. I'm gonna play some Resident Evil Requiem on Insanity mode, and probably hit the hay after that. Thanks so much for being here, guys. I know this is a long stream, but I had fun. I'll see you guys next time. Take care, play some games, chill out, and I'll see you guys next time. Oh, wait. Wait. 1 second. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Let me move your way. Okay, that's better. That's better. Better. Do. Hold on. Okay. Where you at? There. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna redirect you to Hypno. Hypno's playing Neo. Hopefully he gets back on Resident Evil. I will see you guys later. Y'all take care. Have a good one. Tell Hypno I said hi. Y'all have a good one.